You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper than again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the 6th part of, What If Naruto Enters Hyperdimension Neptunia? Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of Hussbek on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Ugh. A groan was heard as Naruto opened his eyes to stare at pink ceiling. His senses began to kick in as he soon realized that he was laying on a pink-themed bed and that parts of his body was covered in bandages. He began to sit up and look around before figuring out where he was. This is Kampa-chan's room, I must be at her apartment, Naruto muttered to himself. At that moment, the door leading to the bedroom opened and Kampa came through, intending to replace his bandages with new ones when she saw that he was awake and quickly rushed over to check on him. Naru, you're awake, said Kampa happily. Kampa, what happened? Last thing I remember was that we were trying to save Histoire from Arfwar but she had a trap set for us and I was trying to protect you all, then I couldn't remember anything from that point onwards, Naruto muttered lowly. Wait while I go and get the others. Kampa left the room before he could question her any further and soon returned with the rest in tow who were more than happy to see the blonde ninja aspirant awake and well. I'm glad that you're all okay, but can someone please tell me what happened when I got conked out? Naruto inquired. Neptune tilted her head with a finger on her chin, well, how can I put it? You totally went beast mode in a literal sense of the words and totally thrashed Arfwar's monster and even Overlord Momus although the latter revived again and then we had to split once Marvy swiped Histy from the old hag. Noir groaned at this, despite how simplistic Neptune summarized everything, she's right about what had happened before. Really, I didn't know that. But I didn't know that I had that of power, said Naruto with a frown. We suspect it as such, especially as someone holds the answers to our questions but refuses to divulge it to us, said Blanc. Who? Vert pointed over at the table next to the bed where the G-pad could be seen placed on it. Your supposed navigator K9 panicked when you unleashed that power of yours and refused to tell us with the excuse of saying that you deserved to know before any of us. Naruto blinked in confusion, what is that supposed to mean? K9 emerged from the G-pad to face Naruto with a serious expression because it has to do with everything, including your origins. My origins? There's more to you than you know or rather we're allowed to know until a set time. I can't hide the truth now that this has happened and I was hoping to reveal it to you much later, but apparently fate thought otherwise. Which is why I want to tell you the truth alone. Wow, the air is getting rather heavy around here, said Neptune a bit nervously. It sounds like the power is somehow linked to Naruto's past which he himself isn't fully knowledgeable of, Blanc muttered thoughtfully. Which only makes things even more mysterious, I do love a good mystery, said Vert. Blanc grunted a bit as she didn't want to admit that she felt the same way. If he knows my past, then it also means that he knows who my parents are. A chance like this doesn't come often, I can't pass it up, thought Naruto before finally speaking up. Okay then K9, we'll talk alone if you girls wouldn't mind. Aw, but I'm dying to know. Neptune whined before If grabbed her by the arm and began to drag her away. Even I know when to respect someone's privacy, If muttered in annoyance. We'll be waiting outside when you need us, said Vert assuredly before leaving the room along with the others following after her. There was an awkward silence between the blonde and the supposed AI for almost 3 minutes until it was broken by the former. So just what makes me so different from the others, who am I really and who are my parents? Naruto asked rather anxiously. For starters, I need to bring something to your attention. Do you recall what happened on the day of your BRTH? K9 inquired. Well, it was the day when the Kyuubi attacked the Hidden Leaf and the fourth Hokage fought and sacrificed his life to destroy it, Naruto answered thoughtfully. K9 rolled his eyes at the obvious answer, pretty much an answer at face value. Face value? In other words, not everyone knows what really happened that night. The real truth that only a select few knew. First of all, the Kyuubi isn't a beast that can be defeated or destroyed. The fourth Hokage chose the only method, which is by sealing it into a newborn baby whose chakra coils have begun to develop. That child is you. Naruto sat silently for a moment. The Kyuubi was sealed inside of me by the Hokage. But why? Mostly because you're born as an Uzumaki whose physiology constantly evolves and adapts, making them perfect hosts to contain tailed beasts such as myself. You're the Kyuubi. Just why the hell did you attack the village, and for what reason? Naruto demanded angrily. I didn't just attack from out of nowhere. I was actually sealed within your mother Kushina Uzumaki, who was my second host, with the first being Mito Uzumaki, who was the first and also the wife of the first Hokage. Then what happened that it led to me becoming your host, and what happened to my mom? Instead of simply telling you, I can show you what happened that night. I subconsciously absorbed small fragments of certain individuals so I can show their memories to you. K9, or rather the Kyuubi swiped a tail to project a video, which began to play a video for Naruto to watch with abrupt attention. He watched as a appealing red-haired woman who was giving BRTH, and the fourth Hokage was there helping her and was successful. Watching the happy interaction, it dawned on Naruto that the fourth Minato Namikaze was actually his father, given the resemblance which he hadn't noticed until now, and how he was trying to carry his younger self in his arms but was denied. Then things went to hell as a man wearing an orange one-eyed mask appeared from out of nowhere and attacked everyone before kidnapping him, with the fourth barely saving him, but his mother was taken instead. Who was that guy? Asked Naruto tensely. I don't know, but he was the one who forcefully pulled me out of your mother's seal and used that accursed Sharingan to manipulate me to attack the village, said Kyuubi, growling at the image of the masked stranger with hatred. The video continued to playing, showing Minato fighting the stranger and was able to drive him away whilst freeing the Kyuubi from his control. After a short fight with the Kyuubi, he went on to transport himself along with baby Naruto and his mother, who used chains of chakra to restrain the Kyuubi. He listened to their conversation. I'm going to draw the Kyuubi and kill myself. That way, I can put off its resurrection. This is the only way that I can help with my remaining chakra. Kushina spoke with great fatigue. Why is she saying that? I'm sure that the doctors would have helped, said Naruto anxiously. Kyuubi shook his head in response. I'm afraid it wouldn't have changed anything. Should a bijou be extracted from the host, they die immediately. Afterwards. She was only able to last this long due to her Uzumaki physiology. Minato looked hurt just by seeing the state of his dear wife. Kushina, you made me the fourth Hokage, a man, a father. And yet. She smiled warmly. Don't look at me like that, Minato-kun. I know you love, and, she turned to baby Naruto, it's his birthday today. Naruto's lips quivered, trying to keep a particular feeling which was building up down for as long as he could while he watched. If there's one thing I regret, it's that I won't be able to see him grow up. Kushina, there's no need for you to die with the Kyuubi, said Minato determinedly. I'll seal your remaining chakra inside Naruto with an 8-symbol seal, then I'll use the Reaper Death Seal to seal the Kyuubi inside of Naruto. Kushina was shocked to hear this and tried to refute, but have faith in this child, he's our son after all. At that moment, Kushina's hold on the Kyuubi weakened for a moment and the tailed beast attacked baby Naruto with a claw. The present Naruto felt something in him crack as he saw his parents throw themselves in the way and stopped it despite being impaled. I told you this is something only a father can do, Minato barely muttered as he vomited BLD. Kushina snarked back at him weakly with BLD dripping from her lips. Then a mother would do even better, right? This is actually the first time that I've lost in an argument to you. Minato underwent the process of summoning the Grim Reaper. Kushina, you're not going to last much longer. I'll start with the sealing as I'll be putting some of my chakra inside Naruto too. He felt himself already reaching his limit. We won't be seeing him for a while, so tell him what you want to say. Kushina looked down at Naruto with a warm smile. Naruto, don't a picky eater, just eat a lot so you can grow big and strong. Naruto didn't say anything, rather he couldn't. Actually, he was beginning to hear her voice clearly in his head as if a distant memory has started to resurface. Make sure that you bathe every day and stay warm, don't stay up too late and get lots of sleep. K. Don't forget to make friends as well. You don't need a ton of them, okay? Just a few is fine. As long as they're ones that you can really trust. Okay. And your mom wasn't really good at this, but make sure you study hard and learn your ninjutsu. Always remember, everyone is good at some things and not so good at others, so even if something doesn't go well, don't get depressed, okay? Oh okay. When you're at the academy, respect your teachers and the upperclassmen. I do, at least Irika-sensei, Naruto whimpered. Oh, now this is important. Regarding the 3 prohibitions of the shinobi. Be extra careful about lending and borrowing money. Take your pay, put it in a savings account. No alcohol, not until you're of age. Too much sake is bad for you, so practice moderation. And another prohibition is women. Remember, I am one, so I don't know too much about it. Keep in mind that this world is made up of men and women, and so at some point you'll notice girls, and that's normal, just be careful. Don't fall for the bad ones, just go out there and find someone like me. Speaking of the 3 prohibitions, you should be wary of Jiraiya-sensei, you know. I'll try. Naruto, I'm sorry to say there will be plenty of hardships and painful times ahead, just be true to yourself, make sure to have dreams and the confidence to make those dreams come true. Sob, I will, I won't quit, I promise. Naruto could no longer hold back the tears as they flowed freely down his cheeks. Oh Naruto, there's so much, oh so much more, there are so many things I wish I had time to pass on to you. So much more I want to tell you. I wish I could stay with you longer, I love you. Kushina sobbed those words. I love you too. Naruto had wanted to hear those words for the longest time, and now he finally heard them. He felt so happy and yet so sad at the same time. Minato, I'm sorry, I used up your time. Kushina apologized, though she didn't stop her tears. Minato felt like breaking down into tears himself, but he ultimately composed himself and kept his cool. No, it's alright Naruto, my words to you, well, I second everything your mother just said. Please don't go, Naruto whimpered tearfully. 8 sign seal. Don't go. Naruto stretched a hand towards the screen as it went static, signaling the end of the video. Why did it happen? They would have been with me, we would have done so much together, and yet, he gritted his teeth with growing rage at who caused all this. DMN him, DMN that man. I swear I'll hunt him down and make him pay. He turned to K9, why did you try to kill me? I didn't want to be sealed again, humans have been treating me as nothing more than a demon after all these years. You can't expect me to not feel bitter about all this, Kyubi retorted. Then why tell me all this? You could have simply left me hanging just to spite me and make my life hell. I would, but I didn't. You deserved to know the truth in the end. Naruto looked at the fox in confusion. Seriously, I don't get it, why are you so mellow? Honestly, it must have started when you first started playing games. At first I shrugged it off as a waste of time, but then it started to catch my interest. Soon enough, I started looking forward to the games you play. At times being amused at your fails while also impressed at your achievements. Appearing in this world and being granted an active role actually excited me. I guess, but why didn't anyone tell me anything? Asked Naruto. Frankly, I suspected that old Hokage wasn't planning on telling you until you either graduated or proven that you were mature enough to know and still keep it a secret from those that don't need to know. But even so, Naruto grumbled. No offense, but you were a bit of a blabbermouth when you were younger and also can't lie to save your life. But now, I can see that there's some control over it and you actually think before doing, no doubt from having spent time with that lazy Nara friend of yours. TCH, Naruto clicked his tongue, knowing full well that he couldn't deny that he often acts before thinking until he learnt how to get a hold of that habit of his. Not to ask the obvious, but what will be your next move from this point onwards now that you know the truth? Asked Kyubi. Naruto silently looked down at his hands, which he had subconsciously clenched into fists, before responding, you know, right now I'm angry at a lot of things, angry at my dad for sealing you and me, angry at the villagers for taking their grudges out on me, at Hokagechichi for not telling me the truth this whole time, but the one I'm the most angry at is the BSTRD who caused all this on that night. Many including me lost loved ones all because this guy wanted to destroy the village for reasons I don't know. Naruto pulled himself off the bed and sat at the edge. Well, things are gonna be different now, no more fooling around and doing things half-assed, I'm gonna get stronger to the point that I won't lose anyone ever again. The villagers ain't gonna walk over me this time, it won't be me looking for their respect anymore but rather the other way around. I'm still pissed at you trying to kill me but at the same time, you were the one to tell me of my origins. Plus, the two of us share a single target, so what say we partner up together? Kyubi blinked for a moment before letting out a humph, and here I was thinking that you would turn emo and start hating everything. Please, that's the team's job. Not mine. True that, I'm already sealed inside of you so it's no doubt that I would be dragged along for the ride. So, I'll cooperate with you as you're the most tolerant out of all humans that I've ever met. Naruto smiled. Then, it's officially nice to meet you, Kyubi. I have a name BRT, and it's Kurama. Even better. The blonde ninja and Fox smiled at each other. In the living room, Neptune and the others were waiting anxiously for either Naruto to come out or call them back inside. Oh man, just what could they be talking about in there? I'm dying to know. Neptune whined childishly. Now's not the time to be pushy, Nep, this must be something important to Naruto for that AI to want to talk to him privately. But don't you want to know? I can't deny that, but we need to respect his privacy until he's ready to tell us. If he is right, Naru must have gone through a hard time before he met us. We don't want to hurt him in any way, said Vert. All we can do is wait, said Blanc sternly, making Neptune look away with a pout. Hearing the bedroom door suddenly open, everyone turned to see Naruto enter with a lighter expression on his face but serious nonetheless. The Digimon approached Naruto a bit nervously, concerned about his current emotional state. Naruto, are you okay? Asked Harassman timidly. Naruto carried Harassman into his arms with a soft smile. I learned a lot, more than I expected. But I'm okay, really. It appears that you have received answers to questions. Hello, I am Histwar, but you already know me as Histy, the fairy of the tome introduced herself to him. It's nice to finally meet you too, Histy-chan, Naruto greeted in response. So, can you tell us what was it that caused you to act that way? Noir inquired. Naruto hesitated, not sure whether to tell them or not. A part of him feared that they would be afraid of him and he would be abandoned like in the past. He was pulled from his thoughts when someone placed a hand on his shoulders and looked to see that it was Kampa smiling at him with reassurance. It's okay, Naru, no matter what it is. We won't reject you, said Kampa. Are you sure? Asked Naruto. We trust you a lot, right? You can trust us to always have your back, said If with a nod of support. Naruto looked at each and every one as they smiled back at him, giving him the courage to tell them of his origins. He and Kurama told them everything except showing the video as it felt rather personal to the former. Once they finished speaking, everyone was stunned into silence, making the blonde feel worried that they were scared of him. Do they hate me after all? Thought Naruto fearfully. The next thing he knew was that he was tackled to the ground. Something inside him began to break, thinking that his friends were attacking him, but was snapped out of his fears when he heard sniffing and looked down to see Kampa and Neptune hugging while bawling their eyes out. Weawaho. Poor Naru, it's so sad, said Kampa, tears spouting from her eyes. I can't believe those guys were so mean to you. You're an awesome guy, said Neptune tearfully. How could they treat you like that? You didn't do anything wrong, said If, disgusted at the villagers for their bias towards her friend who is innocent in all this. Noir clenched her fists tightly. How dare they? You're just as much of a victim as they are. You've lost parents on the very night you were born, and yet what I wouldn't give to be able to go there and give them a piece of my mind. Ah, my poor cutie. I won't let them hurt you anymore. Vert pushed Kampa and Neptune away and wrapped her arms around Naruto, pressing his face into her large melons. Vertchan your melons are. Naruto could barely speak with his mouth being muffled by said melons. And for Blanc, well. Why those good-for-nothing pieces of trash? No, they don't even deserve to be described as that. By the time I'm through with them, they'd wish that the fox had wrecked their village instead. The goddess of Loi was so mad that one would think that her normal calm personality had been completely overwritten by her rage mode. Now I can understand why you reacted to my presence that way. This is unbecoming of a ninja village, said Marvelous AQL in understanding as well as disapproval of Naruto's home. You went through so much and still hung in there, that takes a lot of guts, said CyberConnect 2, looking Naruto with respect. Why did they have to be so mean to you? Asked Harassman tearfully. I doubt I can scribe for a proper answer to that question, said Gatchman. Nothing ever changes across dimensions, the fear and hatred of things people don't or refuse to understand, said Model Z in disappointment. Model X didn't say anything as he couldn't disagree with Model Z's statement. Naruto's summons had their own personal opinions in all this. Oh Naruto, such misfortunate to have fallen upon you and your family, said Styria in sympathy. I would love nothing more than to burn that cesspool into ashes, if not that there are certain few whom he cherishes, Drago growled, blowing smoke from his nostrils. We would have to agree with you, their actions and ignorance would have turned him into a self-fulfilling prophecy had his will been any weaker, said Nyx. Histoire shook her head at all this. I find it rather disappointing that the villagers failed to see past their sorrows and their leader should have been more involved in this matter. Maybe so, but we mustn't forget about the instigator who caused all this, mages. Pointed out the others. You're right, that masked guy who started the problem. He's almost as bad as Arfoire, said Noir. And he's still out there, no doubt planning something that would cause major problems for everyone in Naruto's world, said If with a frown. Naruto managed to free himself from Vert's hug with said goddess pouting for him doing so. Are you guys really okay with me? Neptune slung across the blonde's shoulder with a bright smile. Of course, we are. Every heroine requires a hero to work alongside and you totally fit the bill. We like you Naruto, and we'll say it as many times as you want, Kampa added in support. Unlike those idiotic villagers, we know the clear difference between you and Kurama, said Blanc seriously. Good to know you have more common sense than the villagers, said Kurama with a smirk. My point exactly. Naruto looked at everyone in gratitude. Even though he told them, they still wanted to be with him, and that was more than what he could ever ask for. Thank you, I'm really glad that you're my friends. Vert stared at Naruto with a coy smile. I can be more than a friend if you would let me. She hugged her melons to make them more pronounced, which made Naruto blush beet red at what she was inclining. Alright, that's enough with those giant balloons of yours. You're starting to ruin the moment, said Blanc. Humph, says the one who lacks the appropriate tools. Alright, that's it. You wanna go, cow tips? If you so wish. Histoire cleared her throat to gain their attention as well as everyone else's. If you wouldn't mind, I'm sure you'd like to learn more about the current situation as well as Arfoire. That's pretty much the reason we went through so much to free you from the seal, said If. Vert and Blanc glanced at each other, sharing the inaudible message that they would settle things later. Now then, where to begin? Histoire muttered thoughtfully. How about telling us who you are, Histy? Kampa suggested. Of course, I am originally a part of the former goddess's power who created me to prevent its misuse. Then she used the remainder of the power to create the four of you goddesses to watch over Gamindustry in her place. I was given the task of recording the land's history, Histoire explained. That is quite an interesting piece of information, said Gatchman with genuine interest. I am quite surprised, said Vert. If was rather surprised to hear that. Lady Vert, I was rather expecting the reaction from Neptune but not you. From when my memory served, I was already in battle with the others. Noir hummed thoughtfully. Now that you mention it, I feel like we had a mother who raised us. Oh, you mean Arfoire? Asked Histoire. WJAAT, everyone expected a lot of things, but certainly not this one at all. Whoa whoa whoa. What are you saying, Histy? Neptune just couldn't believe what she just heard. You're saying that Arfoire is our mother and the former goddess? Asked Noir in disbelief. I can't believe she's our BRTH parent. Bert looked a bit ill at the potential notion. My DNA is denying it, said Blanc sternly. This better not be the "I am your father" trope. I hate those types. Naruto complained irritably. Histoire's sweat dropped at their reactions. My, how harsh. But don't worry, as Arfoire isn't your mother but rather was your caretaker. Even so, why did Arfoire raise the goddesses, given our current relationship between us? Asked If curiously. Well, do you know the lore about the quartet and the former goddess? Gatchman responded, I read about it, a group of humans who had defeated an evil goddess to repent, who then created the four goddess and had disappeared. Maybe so, the lore had written about only the quartet when there's another. Blanc began to realize where Histoire was going with this. Wait, you mean to say that? That's right, that was when Arfoire was human. She contributed greatly during that battle with her power of copying to defeat the goddess, although the quartet lost their lives in the end. With that, Arfoire and I were left to raise the four goddesses. Did that really happen? Naruto asked the biometals. That's correct. Vent was there to help protect Arfoire even though he wasn't part of the quartet and didn't want to be put in the spotlight, Model Z explained. I find it shocking to learn that Arfoire fought alongside the heroes' quartet, If muttered lowly. Histoire continued, but Arfoire changed due to the copied power of the former goddess when she was evil inside of her, becoming corrupted by power she couldn't control. Uncontrollable power, Naruto muttered lowly to himself. Ever since then, Arfoire sought only power and to rule over everything. But I've been wondering, why didn't Arfoire try to kill us directly? Asked Blanc. Even though she had the power of the former goddess, Arfoire was still human and didn't have the power to defeat you all, Histoire explained. Now that I think of it, she was pretty weak when she didn't transform into any of our copied HDD forms, Neptune pointed out. It could explain why she makes it a point to copy their powers every time we bump into her. She needed them to be able to even things up and for other things, Gatchman muttered thoughtfully. Histoire nodded in affirmation, plus it also strengthens her power to copy as well. So, what's her goal after copying all of our powers? Asked Vert. Creating an overlord or making lands fight each other doesn't seem very godlike, If pointed out. Histoire shook her head sadly. Unfortunately, with the way Arfoire is now, that is something I do not know. However, what I am well aware of is that her actions are with the intention to destroy Gamindustry. Okay, we know enough about Arfoire for now. What we need to know now is how to defeat Momus. It's simple, really. If people believe that Momus is not real, it will become weak. Once in that state, you should be able to get rid of it for good, Histoire answered honestly. Okay, but how do we make people believe that Momus isn't real? Asked Compa. Not to mention that the word of Momus had been spreading for a while now, Blanc added, with Momus now visible, would the people still believe that Momus doesn't exist? I think the saying easier said than done comes to play here, said Harrisman. Let me try using the internet forums. I should be savvy enough to appeal to them. Vert offered her own form of assistance. I'll do what I can too, said Blanc. The conversation was suddenly disrupted by the knocking on the door. Compa went to see who it is and was surprised that it was the staff member from the Plankton Basilicom, and he appears to be panicking. Please escape, quickly, said the staff member. What's the matter? Neptune inquired. Lady Purple Heart has returned and for unknown reasons is destroying the underground plant. Oh, there's no way that can be true, especially since I'm per dash. Neptune had her mouth clamped shut by IF's hand before she ended up blurting out the truth. You keep your mouth shut, If deadpanned. We're trying to stop her but I don't think we'll be able to, so please escape to the nearest shelter. Oh, thank you for coming to tell us, said Compa politely. Oh, and this, the staff held out a folder to them, it's the materials you asked for, now I have to get going, then he left soon afterwards. Hey, I'm not on a rampage or anything like that. Neptune exclaimed, feeling like she was framed for a crime she did not commit. Of course we know, this is not doubt Arfoire creating a fake you with your powers, said Noir as a matter of factly. Ring 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 ring. What is it now? Vert held out her phone. Oh, it looks like it's for me, from Ran. Oddly enough, Blanc also took out her phone. Oh, me too. You know, I'm starting to have a feeling of déjà vu about this, said Neptune thoughtfully. What? Blanc, Noir and Vert yelled at the same time, surprising everyone in the room. What's the matter? Asked Naruto worriedly. It looks like someone posing as me has appeared in La Station, Noir explained. A fake has appeared in Leanbox as well, Vert added with a frown. What a coincidence, I've got one in Loi too, Blanc finished, obviously displeased. I assume that it is Arfoire who is creating the fakes, you have to spread out, said Histoire. I don't need your help, I can take care of the fake myself, Noir declared, already preparing to leave. Please wait, Noir, Histoire called out. What? I'm in a hurry. Which begs the question as to why she is doing so. She has long since proven that she hardly does anything without a solid reason, Mages pointed out. Isn't that to reduce our shares? I find that odd, Arfoire is far stronger, so there's no need to move shares, said Vert. Then I suspect that she must be after something else, said Naruto with a small frown. But, what? Asked Blanc. I'd suggest that we do some research, we should be able to uncover something from the materials that we have on hand, Gatchman spoke up, pointing a claw as said materials placed on the table. Gatchman has the right idea, let's look at them, if spoke in support. You, I'm not so good at flipping pages and stuff, Neptune whined a bit. Kurama snorted something you seem have in common with the blonde BRT here. Shut it, furball, said Naruto in annoyance. Luckily, there's a flash drive here so you can use the laptop, Kampa offered. Ah thanks Kampa, you're the best. Histoire called out to Neptune, by the way Neptune, about the promise we had. Neptune blinked in confusion, huh, what promise? Oh, Histoire promised to restore your memories. Harassment exclaimed, drawing everyone's attention to the subject. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that in all the excitement. Neptune rubbed the back of her head sheepishly. Another shared trait, you tend to forget things, just like the BRT here said Kurama. Hey! Naruto felt offended at the accusation. If you'd like, I can restore your memory now, Histoire offered. Actually I'll make a pass on the promise, I don't need them anymore, everyone was surprised to hear this. Are you sure about this Nep? It was pretty what started all this, I thought you wanted to remember your past. If inquired confusedly. At first, but now I feel like I shouldn't. Why? Asked Noir. 'Cause if I got my memories back, then I'll remember why I hated you three. I'm a bit scared that I wouldn't be the same Neptune with my memories returned, Neptune explained nervously. That's true, we're all here because of this Neptune and not the other one, Blanc smiled. Indeed, the feat was only possible with the way Neptune is now, Vert added. In spite of you being annoying and at times lazy, you're more tolerable than the other you, Noir turned away with her arms crossed, not wanting the others to see the pink tinges on her cheeks. The cliché answer of a Tsundere Kurama deadpanned. Shut up. No matter what, you're still Nep-chan who we all care about, said Naruto in support. So there you have it, Histy. I won't be needing them anymore to be this happy, said Neptune. Histoire smiled in response, no problem, it is your choice after all. Any luck? Asked Neptune, having been looking through the information with the others for a while now before deciding to break the silence. If sighed, nothing, the information so far is similar to what Histoire already told us. Iffy, what's this about a legendary weapon? Histy didn't talk about that, Kampa, looking up from a page in a book. It's about the weapons used to get to Celestia and defeat the former goddess, if explained, come to think of it, this doesn't come up often in the lore. Hold on, that's it. Gatchman exclaimed. What is it, Gatchman? Asked Harassman. Gatchman proceeded to explain, the legendary weapons of the Heroes Quartet, they must be what Arfoire is after since they can open the way to Celestia and defeat her since she's now similar to that of the former goddess. That must be why she sent our doppelgangers, so they could destroy the legendary weapons, said Vert. And each of the weapons were enshrined in each land, Histoire added. Then we need to get to the weapons before the fakes do, said Naruto. But the problem is, how do we find them, asked Blanc. I'm guessing you guys don't know where they are, and don't look at me for obvious reasons, said Neptune. Miss Histoire, would you know where the weapons are, asked Harassment politely. I could, but it would take me 3 days to find out, Histoire answered. But that's way too long. Neptune complained. The records I have are vast, searching and indexing would take time. Googling would make things faster, Mages pointed out. You sound high-tech, but you're pretty low-tech, aren't you, Histy? The fairy of the tome began waving her hands with a tick mark on her head. Who are you calling low-tech? I'm the one with the records here. Kurama snorted. And yet you have a slow search engine. You be silent. Whoa, Histy is having a hissy fit. Neptune exclaimed. If the fakes are looking for them, then we could follow them, if suggested. But there's the risk of the fakes destroying the weapons before we can get to them, Marvelous AQL pointed out an issue. Even so, we'll need to break into teams, said Noir. You're right, we won't be able to have enough time if we went around as a single party, Vert nodded in agreement. And with Neptune no longer able to use HDD, she'll need more members in her team, Noir added. Blanc hummed. Apparently, the battle with the fakes will be unavoidable. Then I'd suggest that we leave Neptune behind, said Histoire. Hey, that's a mean thing to say. Neptune pouted. Let us handle Plankton, said Mages. Marvelous AQL nodded in agreement. Neppy has been helping everyone, and now it's our turn to help Neppy. Thank you, both, Histoire nodded in gratitude. We can manage on our own, right? Noir inquired. I have no intentions of losing to a fake, said Blanc bluntly. What about, Iffy, Neru and me? Who should we join? Asked Compa. As much as I would like to have Neru and Iffy come with me, but I'll let you three decide, Vert replied. Blanc nodded in agreement. You can look after Neptune or join us, your choice. Anyways, we're going to go now. See you. Noir left the room with the others in tow, leaving Naruto, Neptune, the Digimon and biometals behind. So, what will you do now, Nep? Asked If. Neptune smiled cheerfully. Oh come on, you three know that I'm not the kind of girl that mopes around. Naruto grinned. We'd be surprised if you were. That's the way, Nep, said Compa happily. Histy, I'll be going now. So can you keep watch? Asked Neptune. Histoire shook her head with a smile. I suppose that nothing I say will stop you, just be careful. I even have an idea, we can split up and go to different lands to help the others out. Nep-chan will go with Iffy-chan and Compa-chan to Loi while I go to La Station to help Noir-chan out, Naruto suggested. Neptune whined at this. Why won't you come with us? I get what you mean. This way, we can get the weapons a lot faster and even the odds when fighting the fake goddesses, said If. Plus, my summons can help me get around faster too, Naruto added. Not only that, we can also seek out the others to become your summons along the way so they can aid us against Arfoire, said Styria. Okay, but please be careful, said Compa. Naruto nodded in response. Don't worry, I will. Catch you girls later. He left the room and began making his way towards Virtua Forest so he could summon Drago in order to fly him over to La Station and meet up with Noir to help her out. Any reason for the change in destination, Hatchling? Asked Drago, who was currently flying through the sky with Naruto on his back after departing from Plankton to aid the goddesses in their search for the weapons and hunting down their doppelgangers. Naruto crossed his arms, deep in thought. I was planning on going to La Station first, but I kept getting this feeling in my gut to go to Leanbox first to help Vert. It might make more sense when we get there. Are you sure that it's your gut, or rather your recent longing to bury your face inside a certain valley in between two large mountains? Kurama inquired with a mischievous smile. Naruto blushed beet red at what the bijou was insinuating and started to stutter. And no, that's not it, you pixelated furball. Now, there's no need to be upset. You are a growing hatchling after all, said Drago in amusement at the blonde's reactions. Not you too, Drago. Well, it has come to our notice that you're not used to interacting with females. No doubt due to your experiences in your world, said Styria thoughtfully. You would be right, dear sister, we'll need to educate you on the ways of female interaction, said Nyx. Don't expect us to stick around when that time comes, said Kurama. Drago grunted in agreement. You're the one who brought this subject up in the first place. Naruto yelled in annoyance. Before you start pulling a tantrum on my back, we've arrived at Lean Box, so I'm going to land in a nearby forest, Drago spoke up. Fine, the blonde ninja aspirant grumbled. Soon enough, Drago found a clearing in a forest to land in for Naruto to continue the rest of the way on foot to the Lean Box Basilicom. Along the way he took note of there being a lesser number of citizens outside, which was no doubt due to the fear of the CPU doppelganger roaming about. He reached the Basilicom and was guided to Vert's room. The moment Vert saw Naruto, she rushed over to glomp him and shove his face into her melons. I just knew that my cutie would come to me first, said Vert. MMPPH. Naruto tried to talk, but his mouth was muffled in the goddess's deep melons. Care to continue denying? Asked Kurama smugly, much to Naruto's chagrin. Eventually, Vert finally let go, much to Naruto's relief and mild disappointment. Anyways, I wanted to find out how things are in Lean Box. So far, I noticed that a lot of the citizens are indoors. It's to keep them safe from the fake CPU roaming about. Speaking of which, we were able to find one of the legendary weapons which was stored in the vault, but Vert presented the weapon for Naruto and Ko to see. Apparently the weapon is a bow, but its current condition renders it unusable for battles whatsoever, Gatchman analytically. I presume that it became like this from its storage in our safe, said Vert. We didn't air the place at all, Ranran pointed out. So, you won't be able to use it at all? Asked Harassman worriedly. There's also the issue of its size, it's too big for me to use, plus I lack the skill in archery, Vert added. In that case, may I suggest using parts of the bow as materials to forge a new spear for yourself? Asked Gatchman. Oh my, such a splendid idea. Thank you, cutie, said Vert happily, making the Digimon blush in embarrassment. But how are you going to do it? Do you know any good smiths here in Lean Box? Asked Naruto. Vert frowned in response. None I know that are capable of such a drastic fix. Ranran waved her hands to grab everyone's attention, and successfully doing so. What's the matter? I do recall that our emergency quest isn't until tonight, said Vert. Ranran shook her head. Not that at all. Would you let Ranran do the crafting? You can do it? Asked Naruto curiously. Ranran nodded in affirmation. Yes, I did some smithing and crafting while I was in Lestation. If that's the case, do you require anything for the crafting of the weapon? Asked Gatchman. Yes, I'll be needing some materials for the crafting. You can find them at the Ghytz forest. I'll set up a list for you. Vert nodded in understanding. All right Ranran, we'll get right on it. After acquiring the list from Ranran, the group headed over to the aforementioned forest and had arrived at the entrance. Harassman hopped off Naruto's hood and started looking around with his quills noticeably quivering. Harassman, what's wrong? Asked Naruto with concern. I don't know, something's making me all jittery, and it seems to be inside that forest, said Harassman, sounding unsure of himself. Kurama decided to check on Harassman's status. It seems like Harassman's treasure hunter ability is reacting strongly to something inside the forest. It must be something so powerful that it's enticing Harassman to go and look for it. Gatchman, he took note of his fellow Digimon shaking all over. I suggest that we seek out whatever this mysterious thing would be. It might aid us along the way, or better yet kept away from our foire. It does seem best that we obtain this mysterious item while we search for the materials, said Vert thoughtfully. Speaking of which, what happened to that fake version of yours? Asked Kurama. Apparently she's more interested in playing games and turned out to be harmless. The brothers are watching her. I guess that Arfoire failed to omit certain aspects of the original when creating the copy, said Model Z with a sweat drop. It would seem so, said Model X. Hello there, a voice called out to the group, getting them to turn and see who it is. Tekken-chan, what are you doing here? Asked Naruto confusedly. Said girl approached them with a smile. Well, I heard rumors of Lady Vert roaming this forest in HDD form, so I came here to check. All the CPUs are acting strange and causing commotion, so. I thought you said that the brothers were keeping watch over your fake, asked Harassment, who was still shaking. Vert sighed in annoyance. It would seem that they've been slacking off since I wasn't informed. Useless pervs, Naruto grumbled darkly. Kurama sweated a bit. It would seem that he's inherited his mother's dislike for pervs. She could barely tolerate mild ones, but the extreme ones have their bones broken by her. I know. Can I tag along? I mean, it was getting a bit lonely here, asked Tekken shyly. Naruto snapped out of his dark thoughts to respond, you can join us, the more the merrier, like the saying goes. Tekken smiled brightly at his words, oh thank you. With Tekken now added to the party, Naruto and Co ventured into the Hytz forest with the objectives of searching for the materials required to craft Vert's weapon, look the mysterious source which Harassment detected, and seeking out the fake green heart to defeat her. They were able to locate the materials that Ran requested for them to collect whilst picking up other drops with help from a still jittery Harassment-like idea: chips, a spear weapon for Vert called Requiem, and a test potion X suited for Kampa which Naruto intends to give to her later. They also learnt that Tekken is quite experienced in hand-to-hand combat, able to take on monsters with just her punches and kicks, although she tends to react odd whenever she gets hit by attacks, but they try to ignore that as they move along. Hey guys, have you noticed something odd? Asked Naruto with a small frown on his face. It would seem so. At times my body would feel heavy and then suddenly becomes light, said Vert. Me too, said Tekken in agreement. Gatchman spoke up, I noticed that your movements would slow down or speed up, and that's not the only thing. Look over there. Looking at where the Digimon was pointing, the party turned to see an oddity in the form of rocks, leaves and broken tree branches floating aimlessly in the air without any form of wind blowing. Naruto approached a rock and poked at it to drift away from him. Does anyone have an idea of what's going on here? Asked Naruto confusedly. It appears that something is affecting the gravity of this place. It might have something to do with the mystery item that we're looking for, said Kurama. It's true, it's making me shake all over, said Harassment, quivering even more. Gatchman pulled down his magnifying glass to scan the surrounding area. He was upgrading his scanning abilities to be able to detect energy signatures when in range. I should be able to assist by tracking the gravitational energy signature. The stronger it gets, the closer we're approaching it. Then let us be off. We've already collected the needed materials. The sooner we find this item, the sooner that poor Harassment would stop shaking, said Vert. Harassment nodded in gratefulness at her consideration. With Harassment and Gatchman working together, the group were guided towards the source of the gravitational energy. Evidence of them getting closer were visible. Given the floating stones of various sizes and even entire trees having been ripped right out of their roots and were floating in the air, as well as their bodies feeling the constant shifts in gravity with each step taken. Look over there, we found it, said Harassment excitedly, pointing ahead towards a clearing. Naruto and Co entered the clearing to see the forest debris orbiting what could best be described as a floating pedestal with what appears to be a stone-like bracelet adorned with unknown inscriptions, as well as a glowing blue crystal built into it. There were even floating rocks before the pedestal that were acting as stairs leading to it. Gatchman was scanning the relic but quickly had to put his magnifying glass away. The energy merely radiating from it is amazing. I've never recorded such high readings beside those of Naruto and the CPUs. Then let's grab it and get out of here. Naruto approached the pedestal and was about to ascend the makeshift stairs when Kurama suddenly called out to him. Kid, get back. We have incoming, said Kurama urgently. Not wasting time asking questions, Naruto somersaulted backwards right as something crashed onto where he once was, throwing up a cloud of dust. Everyone brandished their weapons and cautiously waited for the dust cloud to settle, which it eventually did, to reveal what could be best described as a giant robot with a chest plate shaped like a roaring lion wielding a sword, equipped with twin cannons and long robot wings on its back. Another thing is that there are 3 of these robots. Oh my, It would appear that we have unwanted company, said Vert with a frown. They're called Regulus, highly dangerous monsters. They must have been attracted by the strong energies emitted from the relic, said Gatchman after scanning the monsters. Let's take care of these three first. Naruto twirled Kansho and Bakuya in his hands before taking a stance. Gatchman and Harassman underwent digivolution to change into their ultimate forms to help their partner. Gatchman digivolved too. He took on a taller humanoid form, wearing red and gray armor with glowing globes on various parts of it. The helmet has 3 horns to form an arrow shape, a blue cross-shaped glass on the middle of his face and blue glass-like objects on the sides of the helmet. There are multiple golden navigation pointers on parts of the body with 2 larger ones acting as 2 detached wings, Globemon. Harassman digivolved too. The little Digimon now took on the form of a humanoid wolf man wearing black pants held by a belt, and a pair of cowboy boots. He also has red spikes all over his body and wields a pair of long spiked brass knuckles, Stiffelman. Tekken clenched her fists. I'm ready. Vert went into her HDD form and brandished her spear. Let us begin. I'll start with the one in the middle, Blade Raid. Naruto flung his short swords at the first Regulus that raised its sword to deflect them, but then Naruto rapidly dashed forward and slid in between its legs whilst tracing another pair of short swords into his hands to get behind it. You're open, execution. He leapt into the air and attacked with a powerful X-slash. But then the other Regulus placed their focus on him and prepared to attack him. Hey, over here. Globemon took flight with his wings, Schwert Cutter, materializing blades of energy from his fists. He swooped towards one of the Regulus and slashed at it consecutively before flying away and taking evasive action when it retaliated by opening fire with the twin cannons on its back. Here I come. Stiffelman lunged at one of his own targeted Regulus and rapidly punched at it with his spiked knuckles like a machine gun, with the monster having to use the flat side of its sword to defend against the onslaught of attacks before backing away to take flight into the air and aimed its twin cannons to fire twin energy beams, forcing Stiffelman to dart away and avoid getting hit. TCH, how annoying. After dodging another energy beam, Stiffelman leapt into the air with great speed to reach the flying Regulus. Giga Crimson Dive. He tackled the monster with a high-speed drill spin whilst attacking with his quills, slamming it strongly into the ground. Oh my, I'd rather you stop attacking my cutie. Kinestra Slash. Vert crouched slightly before disappearing in a flash to reappear right in front of the machine attacking Naruto, where there was a moment of stillness, then numerous slashes began appearing all over its body. I can help, Fujin Fist. Tekken reared a fist back as it became enshrouded in green wind before dashing forward and landing a powerful haymaker punch which blasted the Regulus away from them. The Regulus rose to its feet and held up its sword, which began to glow with energy in preparation for an attack. Sensing this, Naruto quickly swapped out the twin short swords for the Monadu. Not so fast. Monadu Buster. He raised Monadu above his head as it opened up to generate a long glowing blade of energy. Then he brought it down to clash with the Regulus's sword and struggled against it. Now's your chance, Vert-chan. Consider it taken, Silhet Spear. Vert twirled her spear to summon the green magic circle next to her for a large wooden spiraled spear to shoot out and strike its target for a knockback. Ha! Naruto moved in, slashing multiple times with the Monado's energy blade, and now, Monadu Shooter. He leapt backwards whilst swinging the Monadu to launch energy blasts up to 8 times, with the last one being stronger than the previous ones. Back with Globemon, he was easily evading the slashes and energy blasts from the Regulus he was currently facing. It's useless. With my enhanced search abilities, I can analyze every single pixel on you and be able to predict what you'll do before you even start. And now, Globemon crossed his arms together, mounting the energy blades on his arms once more. I've analyzed just where to land a decisive strike on you, Schwert Cutter. He dashed forward at blurring speeds and drove both energy blades into a particular point of the Regulus's chest plate, making it JRK and flail in pain before dispersing into pixels. Target deleted. Stiffelman was busy at his own side, bobbing and weaving around his opponent's attacks with motions which are a mixture of a pro boxer and beastly instinct before countering with swift jabs and hooks. You got 2 cannons and a large sword, yet you can't keep up. Either you're weak or that Naruto has helped me become this strong. Anyways, I'm done with this fight. Stifleman weaved around a sword move and unleashed a powerful uppercut to launch it high into the air and waited for it to fall back down towards him. It's over with this, vermilion vortex. Stifleman hunched forward, making the red drill-shaped spears to protrude from all over his body and turning the falling Regulus into a literal pin cushion. The monster hung above him silently before dispersing into pixels as well, with the red spears retracting to his body. Rainy Ratnapara. Vert attacked with a series of rapid thrusts of her spear before ending the combo with a powerful diagonal slash for maximum damage. Naruto leapt over Vert with Kansho and Bakuya re-equipped and glowing with energy, steel fans. He duplicated the blades to hold in between his fingers as he slashed at the monster before using them to block its retaliatory strike and skidded backwards. That was when Tekken zipped past him with a fist coated in lightning, Raijin fist. She unleashed a thunderous punch, blasting the Regulus into the air and dispersing into pixels, ending the fight. Naruto sent away the short swords and let out a long sigh. Phew, that was a bit tough on us. Wasn't expecting 3 risky monsters to show up. Vert reverted from her HDD form, indeed, but we able to deal with them accordingly in the end. We were lucky, said Tekken in agreement. But it was also an opportunity to test our new forms, Globemon pointed out. He and Stifleman glowed for a moment, then reverted to their rookie forms before plopping to the ground. Apparently, our ultimate forms are a bit more taxing. It will take some getting used to. So tired, Harrisman whined. Take 5 you two, I'll go and get that relic so we can be on our way, said Naruto. He approached the floating pedestal once more to grab the item before returning to the ground. By doing so, the gravity around them suddenly changed with the debris dropping to the ground. Suddenly, the relic started glowing brightly, and the next thing Naruto knew, it clamped itself to his right wrist tightly with no intention of letting go. What the? Get off of me. Naruto tried pulling the bracelet off his hand, but it wouldn't budge no matter what. It won't come off. Oh, is it hurting you? Harrisman had scampered over to check on Naruto, poking a claw at the bracelet while Gatchman was scanning it. Kurama opened up the status window and frowned at what he was seeing. I can't seem to identify the bracelet, and it appears to be locked onto one of his accessory slots. It can't be removed. Is it doing anything harmful to him? Asked Vert warily. The last thing she wants is anything hurting Naruto on a long-term basis. So far, his SPD stat has been reduced slightly, but nothing more than what I can tell, and its ability is currently inactive. Sigh, so I'm gonna be stuck with this thing on my wrist, aren't I? Naruto sighed in exasperation, to think they sought this thing out only to have it cling to him like a leech. I'm sure everything will be okay, at least no bad person will be able to take it now, said Tekken assuredly. If you say so, Tekken-chan. In the meantime, let us search for the fake me, said Vert, putting everyone back on track. Naruto nodded in affirmation. Alright then, let's shelf this for now and get on with the last objective. With that said, the party ventured further into the unexplored parts of the forest, keeping an eye out for the target whilst taking down monsters that would attack them. Naruto noted that his body felt a bit heavy, but it wasn't affecting his combat performance that much. He figured that it could serve as some sort of training in a way. Gatchman was scouting the area when he caught sight of something and quickly alerted the others. Everyone, look over here. They turned towards where the Digimon was pointing and saw the fake green heart being accompanied by the brothers, for some reason not surprising given their perversions. Now, Lady Vert. Please, this way, said the older brother at the lead. The town is only a short distance from here, the younger brother added. The fake green heart nodded eagerly. I cannot wait for the Butler Cafe. Brothers, what on earth are you doing with that fake? Vert demanded with a frown. Are you two seriously trying to tell me that you can't tell the difference between them? Asked Naruto in annoyance. The older brother scoffed. Do not underestimate us brothers, we're fully aware that this one is a fake. Vert glared at them. Are you betraying me? Do not be mistaken, we're merely escorting the fine maiden here. Younger brother nodded in agreement. Yes, as our second MSTR. Tekken tilted her head in confusion. Isn't that also considered a betrayal? Vert stepped forward. It seems that you two need to be taught a lesson. The fake green heart responded in kind, I will not let you harm these two fine gentlemen. So, the fake is now acting like a MSTR? Yes, I am a fake. But as long as they follow me, I am their MSTR to be. Tick marks appeared on Vert's head. How noble for being a fake, you truly epitomize me as my fake. Isn't this scene kinda making Vert look like a bad guy? Asked Harassman confusedly. Gatchman hummed, it would appear so, but I suggest that you keep this thought to yourself. As a gamer, I've let you run about freely, but I cannot let you go now, Vert declared. I have a mission, to go to the butler's cafe. I cannot lose now. The fake green heart brandished her spear and lunged at Vert. Ha! Kai-ah! Vert ducked out of the way frantically. She saw that her doppelganger wasn't letting up on her attacks. Wait a moment. I haven't changed forms yet. That's why I'm attacking now. A rather sound strategy, I'll have to admit, said Model X. Is now a good time to admit strategies? Asked Model Z. The fake green heart swung her spear once more when something intercepted her attack, revealing Tekken having blocked the incoming attack with her arms crossed and was holding her at bay. I can see through your moves, said Tekken. Lady Vert, I'll be your shield, so please change quickly. Fake green heart growled, you think that a mere human can stop my attacks? Compared to Kuma-chan's 10-hit combo, this is nothing. Thank you, Tekken. Vert wasted no more time to transform into her HDD form. I'm ready now and I'm not going to lose to a fake. In that case, time to double mega merge. Naruto declared. Then the biometals flew into his hands to begin the transformation. BioLink established. MEGA's system online. Naruto was engulfed in a dome of light before dissipating to reveal him as Megaman ZX with the ZX saber at the ready. I'll start us off. Naruto ran forward, shifting the ZX saber to buster mode and starting firing a barrage of energy bullets at the fake green heart, who was twirling her spear to deflect the incoming projectiles as he continued to close the distance between them. Splash laser. He took aim and pulled to shoot a water beam but ended up missing due to his target swiftly taking to the sky. TCH, missed. Silhouette spear. Fake green heart summoned multiple large wooden spiraled spears to shoot out towards Naruto. Air waltz. Naruto took evasive action by leaping into the air and repeatedly kicking short bursts to maneuver himself in midair to avoid the spears before shifting to the ZX saber. Circling water slash. The energy blade of the ZX saber gained water properties as he performed a rolling slash to destroy the spears. Blaze drop leg. He enshrouded his body in flames whilst performs a descending diagonal kick which forced fake green heart to block, but the impact was strong enough to force her to the ground. Here I come, Haya. Tekken came upon her and attacked with deceptively strong punches and kicks. The fake CPU was not expecting such strength to come from someone who hardly looks muscular and was forced to take her very seriously. Fujin fist. She enshrouded her fist with wind and tried to punch her opponent but missed the attack. Enough of this, Rainy Ratnapara. Fake green heart attacked with a series of rapid thrusts before knocking Tekken back with a diagonal slash. No fair, she's using Miss Vert's moves. Harassman whined. Considering that she's a copy made by Arfoire, it stands to reason that she can use similar techniques, said Gatchman. I'd appreciate that you do not use my techniques to hurt my friends. Purpurasans burst. Vert rushed up to her fake, attacking with an uppercut slash then a downward strike before building up momentum by twirling her spear and finishing with a horizontal slash. Your objections matters nothing to me. Darjeeling red. Fake green heart dashed towards Vert in preparation for an attack. Naruto wasted no time in intercepting her with his ZX saber in hand. I don't think so. Prison gate sword. He took a defensive stance to block fake CPU's attack and immediately countered with a heavy overhead slash that knocked her away from them, then switched to the chain rod, launching it to wrap around one of her legs to pull her towards him and got kicked away. The fake green heart got up and began emitting a strong green aura from her body. My defeat shall not occur, you shall perish here. Spiral break. She dashed forward at high speed to lance through the party members, then she turned around and unleashed a barrage of move attacks from multiple angles consecutively with only green flashes being seen. The fake green heart was then seen a fair distance above the group. May your sins be cleansed. She threw the spear at them, engulfing them in an explosion of green energy. The energy died down, revealing the group encased in red spherical shield thanks to Naruto having used X's rolling shield in time to defend them. That was too close, said Naruto in relief, wasn't expecting her to use an EXE attack on us. Mostly because Arfuar never did so when she used the goddess's powers against us in the past, Gatchman pointed out to him. What do we do? Asked Tekken worriedly. How about a team attack? That could work. Harassman suggested urgently. That might do the trick. How about it, Vert-chan? Asked Naruto. Vert nodded in affirmation. Why, of course. If I am to be honest, I've been wanting to share one with you for quite some time. Alright then, Naruto disabled the shield and equipped himself with the triple rod. Time for the EXE drive. Crossed hearts. Naruto and Vert were enshrouded in red and green auras respectively, which then flowed into their weapons. Naruto dashed at the fake green heart with blurring speed and attacked with multiple horizontal and vertical slashes before skidding around and kicking her in the back towards Vert, who knocked her upwards with an uppercut from her spear, then summoning several Silhet spears to strike her in midair. Both Naruto and Vert reared their weapons as they were enshrouded with their signature auras before throwing them and seemingly piercing through the fake green heart and triggering an explosion before flying back to their hands as their target crashed to the ground. The fake green heart tried to get up, but Le Café, she collapsed and dispersed into pixels just like the other monsters. That has to be the worst dying regrets I've ever seen, said Kurama with a deadpan expression. All in all, that's one less fake goddess to worry about, Naruto pointed out whilst reverting to his normal self. Vert followed suit by deactivating her HDD form with a sigh of relief. She was quite an opponent, but we were able to win thanks to you, Tekken. But are you okay? I doubt those gloves of yours provide protection. Tekken smiled earnestly. I'm fine, the attacks only pricked a bit. It actually felt good. Everyone with a few exceptions turned to look at Tekken with wide eyes at her answer, not sure if they heard what she said correctly. Felt good? Vert repeated a part of the sentence in disbelief. I wasn't expecting to meet this kind of girl, said Kurama. From that statement, is she saying that she's a model? X couldn't bring himself to finish the sentence. Are you a MSCST? Asked Naruto with cheeks tinged pink. What's a MSCST? Asked Harassman innocently. I'll tell you when you're older. Gatchman stammered a response with Harassman tilting his head in mild confusion. Younger brother, now is the time for us to flee, older brother urged as they began tiptoeing away from the scene. Younger brother nodded in agreement. Yes, Lady Vert should forget if we hide for a few days. They were halfway out of the clearing when something whizzed past and stabbed the ground to obstruct them, revealing to be a black short sword, and recognized whom it belongs to, even more so when the owner's voice called out to them in a dark tone. Where do you think you two pervs are going? A cold chill crawled up the spines of the brothers, turning around to see Naruto and Vert looking at them with expressions that filled them with terror. Who will forget what in a few days? Asked Vert with tick marks pulsing on her head. Lady Vert, please calm down. We did not betray you, said the older brother. Yes, we only accompanied that one in the name of carnal pleasure, the younger brother added. Upon hearing their words, Vert smiled with barely restrained anger, and Naruto was practically growling at their audacity. Oh. It sounds to me like you only value me through my frontal aptitude, said Vert. It's true that we see your bountiful delight, but we did not mean, older brother tried to explain. Do not worry. I will show you delight quite so. But first, Naruto approached the two terrified men, cracking his knuckles. Better grit your teeth and clench your asses, this is gonna hurt a lot. The brothers hugged each other with snot dripping down their noses in horror. Heel. In spite of all that has happened, we were able to acquire the materials. Gatchman completed his explanation to Ran of what had happened in the forest. Ran thinks those two deserved it, said Ran. But that punishment looked like it felt good, said Tekken with longing. Now that I have the materials, where do I craft the weapon? There's a facility underneath the basilicom, I'll have that location ready soon, said Vert. By the way, what happened to those brothers? Asked Harassment curiously. Oh, I had them sent to the torture chamber after reluctantly applying first aid to them, said Vert nonchalantly. Torture chamber? Asked Tekken. Of course, I'm having them play BL games and they aren't allowed to come back out until they've completed all of the backlogs and acquired all of the achievements in each and every one of them, said Vert innocently. How many games are there for them to play? Asked Gatchman nervously. Oh, about 20 or so. They'll be saturated in BL games until they repent. That's a guaranteed way to turn any male gay. Naruto and the other guys thought this fearfully. So, what happens now? Asked Naruto. Well, the brothers aside. I'll be heading to the Smiths with Ranran so we can get things started. Can I help too? Asked Tekken shyly. Vert nodded with a smile. Why of course, it will be appreciated. The more the merrier, Ranran added. Once the weapon is complete, we'll reunite with Neptune and the others. If that's the case, I'll be rushing over to La Station to see how things are going with Noir since Nep-chan and the others had gone over to Lo-E to help Blanc-chan, said Naruto. Very well then, Vert pulled Naruto into a hug, shoving his face into her melons like always. I hope that my little cutie takes cares of himself until we meet again. With a face redder than a beet, Naruto gave a muffled response, I will. Stepping out of the basilicom, Naruto finally got himself to stop blushing after being teased by Kurama and the summons. Alright, now that we've helped Vert-chan get the materials for her weapon and dealing with her doppelganger. Guess our next stop will be La Station to help Noir-chan out over there. Hold on Naruto, remember that you need to locate more of us to aid you. There's another that resides here in Lean Box, said Styria. Not him, anyone but that annoyance, Drago groaned, having an idea of whom Styria was talking about. I can understand you disliking him but we can't afford to be picky with this current situation, said Nick sternly. Fine. But if he starts mouthing off, we're gonna have problems. Okay then, where do I go to? Asked Naruto curiously. According to Kurama, you have been to Marabako Forest before. That's where we're sensing him, said Styria. Then I'm heading there now. Naruto began making his way towards his newest destination. Is this guy really that bad? Asked Kurama curiously. It mostly depends on your ability to tolerate high levels of nonsense, said Drago grumpily. Having been there before, Naruto arrived at the Marabako forest. Then the Shiva sisters and Drago proceeded to guide him through unfamiliar routes which had him resorting to leaping through the trees. He soon came upon what could be best described as the ruins of an ancient temple grounds of Grecian design as far as the parts of broken statues, buildings and columns show. Is this the place? Naruto inquired. Yes, we're sensing traces of his aura here, Nyx confirmed. Perhaps a search through the ruins will help us learn of his whereabouts, Styria added. I still think that we don't need that guy, we'll be fine without him, Drago insisted. Styria spoke sternly, stop acting like a child already, we are not going to let your pride put our summoner in grave danger. I'm not acting like a hatchling. Ignoring their argument, Naruto ventured further into the ruins and started searching around for clues with Harassment and Gatchman helping him out. There were ancient inscriptions and images etched into the broken walls and pillars, with the one thing they constantly saw is the image of a roaring quadrupedal dragon. Entering the temple, Naruto found himself at the altar hall and took note of the bronze mirrors placed at certain location and crystals built into rotational pedestals which were firing beams of light. Gatchman scanned the area with a thoughtful hum before speaking up. It looks to me that we need to realign these mirrors and crystals in order to reflect the lights in a required pattern in order to activate something. Naruto groaned, another puzzle. Shikamaru would have been able to solve it in seconds. This further proves my point of skipping over him, always viewing himself as a smart guy, Drago grumbled. Be silent, Drago, said Nyx sternly. You must really not like this guy, said Kurama with a quirked eyebrow, the dragon's current attitude reminding him of his relationship with a certain sandy raccoon. Alright then, mind lending a claw with this? Asked Naruto. Of course, said Gatchman. I'll help too. Harassment added cheerfully. Naruto along with the Digimon and the biometals worked together in rotating the mirrors and crystals whilst referencing from the pictures on the walls to figure out what needs to be done. Soon enough, they had worked out the pattern which turned out to be the symbol of a bird's wing. Suddenly the temple began to quake as a white magic circle appeared in the middle of the altar hall before a pillar of light emerged from it and shot to the sky. "Looks like a portal, just like that one back at Drago's place," said Naruto thoughtfully. "Okay, let's see where it will take us to." Stepping onto the portal, Naruto felt himself being lifted off the ground and suddenly flung through a white void at great speeds for a few moments before finding himself standing on something solid. He looked around and quickly noticed that the clouds were practically floating around him and that he was standing on floors made of pure white marble. Naruto, I get the feeling that we're not on solid ground but rather in the air," said Gatchman nervously. "You mean we're on a floating island in the sky?" asked Naruto. "Apparently so." Eep. Harassment jumped and clung to Naruto's side in fright. "I can sense him ahead of us inside that temple," said Styria, gesturing towards the aforementioned temple. "Let's just get this over with," Drago grumbled in resignation. Naruto approached the temple whilst noting that it looked similar to the one in the ruins, going inside and arriving at the altar hall where he came across something strange. In the middle of the room is what could best be described as a giant golden cocoon glowing softly. Naruto to approach closer when a deep heavenly voice spoke up. "Approach no further for I am aware of your presence and of those that accompany you." The golden cocoon began to open up in a bright flash of light, forcing Naruto to shield his eyes with an arm and waiting for the brightness to dim. He looked to see what was within the cocoon. Before him stands a western dragon with scales of the purest golds, 3 serpentine tails, and its wings are feathery of pure whiteness. "Greetings young one, I am Elrath, the dragon of light. It appears that you came along with some dear friends of mine, although one of them doesn't seem to feel that way," said Elrath, clearly knowing who was with Naruto. "I don't recall us ever being friends," Drago retorted. "Dishonest as always, Drago." "Humph." Styria and Nyx emerged from the crystal whilst Drago refused to come out with the older sister speaking up. "Elrath, we come to you because we seek your aid. Our enemy has attained the powers of the 4 goddesses and is causing havoc throughout the lands. I have been sensing discord for quite some time. I noted that stability had been returning to the lands before discord overtook it with an even stronger force. It would seem that this young child here was one of those responsible for the stability." Nyx nodded in affirmation. "Naruto has been aiding the 4 goddesses in this matter." "I see," Elrath hummed thoughtfully before speaking up. "Before I give you my answer to your request, I'd like to administer a test to see if you are worthy of my allegiance." Drago groaned in annoyance. "Doesn't the fact that the hatchling has us with him prove that he's worthy?" "Maybe so, but I want to see for myself that he is indeed worthy." "Okay then, what is it you want me to do?" asked Naruto curiously. "Nothing to be exact, I'll peer into your soul to see if you have what it takes." "Oh okay." Elrath raised one of his claws to gently press it against Naruto's forehead and proceeded to look into the boy's soul and saw many things, some of it which made him frown but not because he was disapproving of the blonde. After a few more moments, Elrath removed his claw and with a low hum. "I see." What is it?" asked Harassment nervously. "I see that you've been through many struggles since the day you were born till now. Humanity can be so blind and ignorant at times. What impresses me is that you still held on strongly to your light in spite of the many times darkness tried to consume it, holding on to your sense of self and desiring to rise above the negativity directed towards you." Naruto crossed his arms with a frown on his face. "Yeah, as much as I understand why they acted that way, I'm not gonna let myself be a scapegoat anymore. When I get back, I'm gonna show everyone who Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze really is." Elrath chuckled at the blonde's declaration. "Such confidence is to be admired, especially from a young one like you. It makes me wish to bear witness to where this chosen path of yours will take you." What does it mean?" asked Naruto confusedly. "It means that you are worthy to be my summoner and I would like to accompany you." "Really? Thanks a lot Elrath-san," said Naruto happily. Elrath held out a claw for a small orb of light to float away from it towards the necklace, fusing with it. The Shiva sisters were sent back with the crystal changing into a white gem covered by a pair of golden wings. "We're glad to have you with us, Elrath," said Nyx happily. "Humph, took you long enough to join." "Should have done so the moment you were aware that I am with the hatchling," Drago grunted. "Maybe so, but I was curious to see what could have possibly persuaded a dragon such as yourself to form a contract with the boy," said Elrath. "Why I chose the hatchling is no one's business but my own. Besides that, there is something I to give to you, no doubt it will prove useful on your journey." Elrath conjured an orb of light which flew towards Naruto and settled onto his hands before dissipating to reveal a pair of large three-pointed cyclone blades with curved edges. They're called Aquila, blades made of holy light with many capabilities. "I'll be sure to guide you through them." Naruto twirled the Aquila in his hands to get a feel of them, getting sense of the blades being similar to the windmill shurikens back home. "Thanks a lot Elrath-san, these will definitely come in handy. Anyways, let us be off. I believe you were going to La Station before coming here to meet me." Elrath transformed into an orb of light and went inside the crystal. Naruto backtracked the way he came and was soon back in the Marabako forest whilst noting that the crystals had been deactivated before guessing that Elrath might have been the one responsible for that. "Alright then, now to head for Lost Dash," Naruto was saying when he was suddenly disrupted by the sound of beeping which was coming from his G-pad. "What is it? A message alert." He opened the inbox and was stunned by what he was reading. "Danger. Black Dragon on Rampage. Thunderstorms approach La Station." He looked at the blurred image of a black bipedal dragon flying through the skies and attacking with bolts of lightning. "Hatchling, summon me now." "We have to get there immediately," said Drago urgently. "Alright. Burn evil to ashes, Drago." A pillar of flame shot up from the ground before bursting apart to reveal Drago letting out a roar before landing on the ground. "Get on my back, quickly." Drago ordered. Naruto and the Digimon climbed onto the dragon's back and immediately took to the air, flying with great speed with his passengers having to hold on for dear life. "Drago, what's going on? Do you know that dragon or something?" asked Naruto curiously. "If it is who we think it is, then we have cause to worry," said Elrath with a concerned tone. "There's only one dragon capable of creating thunderstorms and that's Zekrom whom we were supposed to find should we arrive in La Station," Styria explained. "But what we don't understand is why Zekrom would be trying to attack the city," said Nyx. "It's not Zekrom's style to attack anyone who can't fight back, something else must be going on here," said Drago with a frown. "I fear that we may not like the answers when we arrive there," said Model Z. "There's hoping that it isn't too serious," said Model X. It wasn't long before the sight of dark clouds with the sounds of rumbling thunder came into their view, urging them to move faster. "Naruto, look over there." Gatchman called out for Naruto to see where he was pointing at. Descending from the dark clouds is a large, black dragon with a vaguely humanoid figure. The dragon has piercing red eyes and dark gray to black skin that seems to be armor-like, a large generator-like tail and long mane that ends in a tip which is glowing in an iridescent blue color, and it also has a set of small black wings behind its three-clawed arms. "Zekrom, why are you trying to attack this city?" asked Drago. Zekrom turned towards the group. "You dare address me by my name? Have you no respect for Zekrom the Dragon of Lightning and the loyal beast of the one true goddess Arfwar?" Everyone was shocked to hear and Drago was quite vocal about it. "What the heck do you mean by that? Are you trying to tell me that you formed contract with someone like her?" Gatchman was scanning the black dragon when he caught sight of something and brought it to everyone's attention. "Hey guys, take a look at what's around Zekrom's neck." They all took note of a metal collar with a chain linked to it shackled to the neck. "You've got to be kidding me, I thought they were all destroyed," said Drago in anger. "What is it?" asked Naruto. "SLV collars, created to enforce anyone who wears to serve a MSTR many years back. We thought that they were destroyed since slavery was outlawed in the past. I suspect that this Arfwar you speak of must have come into possession of one and enhanced it to be able to control strong beings like us," Elrath explained with a frown. "Is there any way for us to get it off him?" asked Naruto. The only way to do so would be to acquire the keystone needed to unlock the collar, no doubt Arfwar has it in hand. So in the meantime, we'll need to suppress Zekrom to prevent him from inflicting any more damage. I got that handled, no way I'll allow a fellow dragon to be enslaved. Drago declared. Naruto nodded in affirmation. Alright Drago, let's do it. Zekrom saw them approach to challenge him. You all shall fall to my might. All for the goddess Arfwar. So, what do we have to watch out for with this guy? Asked Naruto. Zekrom controls lightning with relative ease, which in other words means that we have to watch out for everything, Styria explained. Drago would know best since he often spars with him in the past, said Nyx. Zekrom's tail began to spin with an bluish glow and the crackling sounds of lightning arced throughout his body. Thunderous roar. He opened his mouth and fires a massive yellow beam of electricity at them. Drago veered to the side for the attack to miss but hit a tall building behind them. Drago, we need to draw Zekrom away from here, people might get hurt in the crossfire, said Naruto. Working on it, hatchling. Drago replied. He stared at Zekrom and came up with a plan as he suddenly swooped forward, dodging a claw swipe from the black dragon, then countered with a powerful tail slam to the face to send him reeling back in pain. You claim to be the loyal beast of that hag and yet you flinch from a tail slap to the face. How sad, Drago taunted slyly. Zekrom glared at Drago. You have nerve to insult my goddess, you shall pay with your life. Then come and get it, if you can and aren't all talk, with his retort said. Drago spun around, flew off with great speed with Zekrom in pursuit. He's following after us, said Naruto. Zekrom's a prideful guy, there's no way he'll allow anyone to insult him and go scot-free, Drago explained. Of course, you would know that, since both of you share that trait, Elrath pointed out. Who asked you? Watch out, Zekrom's attacking from behind. Naruto called out from behind in alert. Sensing the aforementioned attack, Drago banked hard to the right in time to avoid a thunderous roar from Zekrom and turned to face the dragon now that they're far away from La Station. Bolt strike. The electric generator inside Zekrom's tail starts to spin and glow light blue with electricity as his body becomes surrounded in yellow electricity with large yellow lightning bolts coming off of it as well. Zekrom then flies towards Drago with intentions to tackle him. Oh geez, I always hated this move of his, Dragon Shield. Drago folded his wings in front of him and focused his energy to generate a spherical shield of flames around him for defense. Zekrom collided with the fiery shield, struggling for depths, but it ended in a draw. My turn, Dragon Fire. Flames seeped through Drago's lips as he opened his mouth to launch a massive fireball towards Zekrom, who quickly moved sideways to avoid being HTI, then flew towards him. Fists of Thunder. Zekrom's fists become surrounded by yellow sparks, which grow into ball of electrical energy before attacking with series of punches. Drago was forced to the defensive, utilizing quick movements and deflecting with his wings, but Zekrom found an opening and landed a punch across his face, knocking Drago back. Drago, are you okay? You took a hard one there, said Naruto. Drago shook his head to get back into focus. Don't count me out just yet, hatchling. I'm more than capable of continuing this fight. Dragon Rush. He flew with great speed to tackle Zekrom before he could react, then proceeded to assault the black dragon with a barrage of strikes before ending with a spinning tail slam, knocking him back. Consider that to be my retort. Such retort means nothing to me. Zekrom spun the generator in his tail once more and began launching multiple blasts of lightning, whilst Drago would make efforts to evade the incoming blasts, then counter by launching fireballs. Crimson Draco Meteor. Drago unleashed a mighty roar, conjuring multiple fiery meteors and having them fall from the sky towards Zekrom. Bolt Strike. Zekrom utilized his technique once more and started to smash through any meteor heading his way before retaliating. Fusion Bolt. His tail glows light blue with electricity, then Zekrom's body becomes surrounded in a sphere of violet electricity, which he then slams into Drago. Gah! Drago cried out in pain and was sent spiraling towards the ground. Is this the end for us? Asked Gatchman worriedly. Oh, I had a nightmare like this before and now it's coming true. Harrisman wailed in fear. Pull up Drago, pull up or we're gonna hit the ground and end up becoming flatter than pancakes. Naruto called out in a panic. Drago's eyes snapped open, struggling to straighten out and managed to recover in time to regain flight, taking to the sky once more and back into the fight. Grr, that attack never fails to hurt me a lot every time, Drago growled in annoyance. I thought that was it for us, said Gatchman in relief. Drago, you needn't hold yourself back. Zekrom wouldn't go down that easily, Elrath pointed out. You need to knock that lizard out if you want to help him, Kurama added. Drago growled, TCH, don't go telling me what I already know. For the glory of my goddess, your lives shall be extinguished, Zekrom declared. Looks like I'm going to have to be a little rougher with you, the Zekrom I know will never say those kinds of things. Fire spirit. Drago roared to the sky as his body was engulfed, which didn't burn Naruto and the others, increasing his overall stats by a lot. Let's see about saving you from yourself. Drago charged onwards, veering from side to side whilst evading the lightning blasts aimed his way and initiated Dragon Rush to clash with Zekrom, who was using his fists of thunder to fight back. After a rapid exchange of fierce blows, the two dragons broke away and were now launching fireballs and lightning bolts at each other to gain an edge over the other dragon. This is the end, Fusion Bolt. Once more, Zekrom surrounded himself in a sphere of violet electricity and prepared to attack. Not this time, True Dragon Fire. Drago gathered the empowered flames to his mouth, then unleashed a fiery blast which took on the form of a roaring serpentine dragon which rushed at Zekrom and slammed right into him. Both sides struggled for dems, with Zekrom increasing his voltage and Drago feeding his attack with more flames, with the result being a massive explosion that knocked both dragons away from each other. Zekrom was about to attack once more when a voice echoed in his mind. That's enough, return to me at once. They shall be dealt with at a later time, said Arfwar. As you command, Zekrom turned to Drago and the others, we shall settle this at another time, my goddess calls for me. The black dragon disappeared in a flash of lightning before they could respond. Wait! Drago called out, but Zekrom was already gone, much to the fire dragon's frustration. Dang it. Arfwar must have called Zekrom back when she noticed that he wasn't attacking the city, Gatchman theorized thoughtfully. Grr. Drago growled angrily. Are you okay? Asked Harassman worriedly. What I'm not okay with is seeing a dragon under the thumb of someone like that wretched woman. Please calm yourself, your anger won't help anyone right now, said Elrath, with the Shiva sisters being in agreement with the Dragon of Light. Naruto patted Drago in comfort. Don't worry Drago, we'll free him from Arfwar the next time we run into her. It'd better be soon, Drago grumbled. I'm gonna contact Noir. Naruto accessed the call function of his G-pad to reach Noir, who answered the call. Naruto, what is it? Asked Noir. Was calling to check on how things are going with you. I was able to locate the legendary weapon with help from CyberConnect, but my doppelganger self-destructed, which severely damaged it. So, I'm heading over to Qian to see if she can help me with it. Glad to hear that. Vert-chan is also working on her own legendary weapon with Ran. Pretty sure Nep-chan and the others have helped Blanc out over at Loi. They're probably back at Plankton right now. If so, then we'll meet up with you guys once the weapons are ready. Alright then, we'll see you later. Sure, but don't go thinking that I was happy that you called me. Said Noir, then quickly ended the call before the blonde ninja aspirant could respond. Okay. That was kinda weird, said Naruto, looking at his G-pad. Such a shy girl, rather cute of her, said Styria in amusement. Being with you all will prove to be quite entertaining, said Elrath with a soft chuckle. What do you two mean by that? Asked Naruto. Nothing that should worry you, said Nyx. So, where do we go now? Asked Harassman curiously. Naruto hummed in thought before speaking up. We'll head to Plankton, but I'll take a small detour through Virtua Forest. I want to practice with the Aquila so I can get a hang of it. I believe I can guide you through the usage of the gift which I have given you, Elrath offered. Fine, I'll drop you off and you can walk the rest of the way, Drago grunted, still salty about the recent events as he flew away towards the Virtua Forest. Ha! A pair of large three-pointed cyclone blades with curved edges spun through the air at high speed and sliced multiple dogus into bits before flying back into Naruto's hands, who then twirled them and took a fighting stance taught to him by Elrath. Most impressive, young one, your growing proficiency in the use of the Aquila is quite astounding. One would find it hard to believe that you had just recently acquired these weapons, said Elrath in approval. Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepishly after putting the Aquila away. Well, they're kinda like larger versions of the shuriken back home, except that they can go anywhere you want them to before coming back like boomerang. It's no surprise, since the numerous battle you've had in this world had given you the experience which you had to wait until graduation from the academy has made your body, mind and instinct much sharper than before you came here, Kurama explained. Really? I didn't notice. But Kurama is right, my previous observations have shown that you have definitely been improving with every battle, said Gatchman thoughtfully. Unlike machines, you can grow. You grow in power with every passing moment, both physical and mental. Upon encountering any hurdles, you would adapt to it and then overcome, Model Z lectured with Model X nodding in agreement. Wow, Naruto looked down at his hands in shock. I never thought of it that way, makes me sound kinda scary. Drago scoffed, don't start getting scared of your own shadow, hatchling. You need to be stronger if you don't want annoyances like Arfwar to cause you problems. Yeah, you're right. Thanks for telling me that, Drago. Humph, just making sure that you don't breaking on me. Well, aren't you being the protective uncle? Asked Elrath in amusement, making the dragon of flames growl at him. And where did you come up with that dumb notion? I don't see any of you ensuring that the hatchling is representing us properly. Styria giggled in response, you're not exactly helping your case with that statement. Oh, go build a snowman or make ice cream or something. Drago looked away with a grumble. The conversation, if one could even call it that, was suddenly disrupted by the sound of beeping from Naruto's G-pad, which he opened to see that it was a message from If that Noir and the others will be arriving at Kampa's place soon, so she wants him to be on his way. Looks like the others are heading over, might as well do the same, said Naruto after closing the G-pad. The Shiva sisters emerged from the crystal with Styria speaking up, then let us assist in transporting you to the city. She and Nyx floated around each other before performing a fusion in a flash of light which dissipated to reveal the motorcycle form in their place. Naruto nodded in affirmation, alright then, let's get moving. He got on with the two Digimon taking comfortable before riding off in direction of Plankton. Soon enough, the blonde ninja aspirant had arrived at the city and stopped at Kampa's apartment with the Shiva sisters undoing their transformation from their motorcycle form after Naruto got off and returned to the crystal. Naruto made his way up and knocked on the door, which was opened by Kampa, who smiled upon seeing him. Welcome back, Naru. You're the last one to arrive, said Kampa happily. Naruto smiled back, glad to be back here. Wait, by everyone, you mean? Yesy, everyone's here. Naruto stepped inside and saw what Kampa meant. Everyone he had met throughout his journey in Gamindustry are here to help them face the threat of Arfwar and Overlord Momus. Vert waved him over happily. There you are, cutie, where have you been? Actually, I was in Virtua Forest to do some training before coming here, Naruto explained. I see, it is quite wise to be prepared for the great challenge ahead. Blanc nodded silently, but was inwardly pouting at a missed opportunity. I would have gotten some inspiration for my book if I was with him. Ah, I wish I knew you went to train. I would have joined you. Tekken whined a bit. Yeah right, like we wouldn't know what you're truly aiming for. Kurama narrowed his eyes in suspicion. Let's get down to business everyone, no more time for distractions, if pointed out to everyone. Histoire nodded in agreement. Now that everyone is here, can I have a look at the legendary weapons? Moore stepped forward and presented hers first with pride. Voila, here's Lastation's legendary weapon. Ah, but I thought it was the dual revolver. Oh that? It blew up when my fake self-destructed. Histoire blinked in confusion. Blew up? Don't worry, Qian and the folks in Lastation rebuilt it for me to use. But it's not even a revolver anymore. Are you sure it's safe to use? I was able to get it as well. Here, Blanc presented her legendary weapon next for Histoire to see. Histoire looked at it with a small frown. Blanc, I thought the legendary weapon enshrined in Loi was the trust spear, Blanc answered. But then why is it a hammer? Plus it's all gold and feels so super smashy. Blanc shrugged in response, it was old and lacked resilience, so I had it remade into a hammer. Not to worry, the is still the same one from the spear. Where in that line am I not supposed to worry? I said not to worry. Vert stepped forward with her own weapon. Now, it's my turn, behold the beauty of the spear. Histoire sighed, I'm getting tired of this pattern, but I might as well follow through. I thought the weapon at Lean Box was the wisdom bow. It was moldy, broken and unusable, so you made it into a spear. Ran did it overnight, said Vert pridefully. At this point, Histoire began to fall into depression, sigh, so not a single one retains its original form. But if you think of it, they wouldn't be able to fight at their fullest potential if they use weapons that they're not used to, Naruto pointed out to Histoire. I understand, but, she turned to Neptune with a look of resignation, don't tell me that even the Trinity blade was altered. Neptune waved her off, don't worry about that, Histy. I don't even have it with me right now. Was it taken by the enemy? Asked Histoire worriedly. Nope, the Basilicom needs the CPU's permission before lending it. This is a problem, we won't be able to acquire the weapon since Neptune can't change into her HDD form, said Gatchman with a frown. Can't we use the 3 legendary weapons that we have right now? Asked Noir. You'll need all 4 weapons to have a fair chance when you face Arfoire, but we will have to make do with the 3 we have in hand right now, said Histoire with concern. Noir huffed with pride, with Lastation's tech applied, my sword should be more than enough. Era, the spear made by my dear Ran is far more than enough, said Vert whilst hugging her weapon close to her melons. Trying not to be irritated at the sight of Vert's bosom, Blanc brandished her hammer. This hammer is the strongest here. I'll send Arfoire flying into the cosmos. It seems like you're all confident in your weapons, said Histoire. They were crafted by the people of each land, so they're all proud of it, said Compa. And let's not forget about the friends who came here to help us, they're more than any legendary weapon, said Neptune, gesturing to the friends sitting around them. I want hot green tea and some sweets first, NYU, Broccoli demanded. How nostalgic, seeing old faces come together, said Mages. With a serene smile. Marvelous AQL gave a 2-finger salute, leave it to me, I'll protect this world and its peace. Falcom smiled, it seems I caught again, but this should be an interesting adventure. Tekken nodded in agreement, yes, I'm getting excited. Ah, you're making me blush. CyberConnect 2 rubbed the back of her head sheepishly. Naruto smiled in contentment, Nepchan is right, having friends is much better than any legendary weapon. They're there to remind you of why you do what you do and that it's worth it. One of the few wonderful traits of humanity, their ability to unite to accomplish a shared goal, said Elrath in admiration. Enough with the sappy talk, you sound like a grandfather, Drago grumbled. Hush Drago, I prefer that you do not ruin such a touching moment, Nick scolded the dragon. Histoire looked at the scene and smiled, I see now, you may be able to defeat Arfoire after all. A loud but familiar roar shook the entire room, taking everyone by surprise as they shot to their feet and looked around for the source of the roar. Wadash! This dramatic voice that I'm hearing, could it be? Asked Neptune fearfully. No doubt about it, it's Overlord Momus and it's here in Plankton, said Gatchman with a frown. Ha 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 ha, another familiar voice was heard, hear me, lowly some. I am Arfoire, I am your god. And that's Arfoire, they're both here, said If with a frown. Look, I see them over at the central plaza. Harrisman alerted everyone to look out the window to see the aforementioned 2 there. Naruto was already making his way to the door, let's get there quickly and stop them before anyone else gets hurt. Right behind ya. Neptune followed after Naruto with the rest close behind them. Over at the plaza, the citizens were looking at Arfoire and Overlord Momus with wariness and fear, trying to understand the whole situation. What? What does she mean by God? Where are the CPUs and what is that monster behind her? Asked a male citizen in confusion. Behold, Overlord Momus. The harbinger of doom to Gamindustry. Arfwar declared arrogantly. That's Overlord Momus, he's actually real, said a female citizen in shock and growing fear. Lady Purpleheart, please come and save us. Arfwar laughed in amusement. There's no point in calling for your goddess, she has been defeated by Overlord Momus. That can't be true, you're lying, the male citizen protested with the others agreeing with him. Humph, you fools. Her not being here rather proves my words to be true. No way, that can't be. Why are they making it sound like I'm dead or something? Asked Neptune with a sweat drop. She's using the fact that you cannot transform into your HDD form to her advantage, if pointed out. Not only that, she's doing this to make the people to believe that Overlord Momus cannot be defeated, Histwar added. Vert frowned at this. That's not good, we mustn't allow this to happen anymore. Then let's beat up the monster before anyone believes in it, Kampa suggested whilst brandishing her oversized syringe. Couldn't agree more, said Naruto. They all moved to confront Arfwar, who sneered upon seeing them. So, you're all here again. Haven't you learnt from the last time? Arfwar taunted them. Neptune glared in defiance. I'm not gonna you harm Plankton and Gamindustry however you want. And how exactly are you going to stop me now that you're human? Noir, Blanc and Vert stepped forward with the former speaking. Can't let you forget about us. So that's Arfwar and Momus, said Falcom, looking at the aforementioned two with a frown. Ugh, this is gonna be a pain, CyberConnect 2 groaned in mild annoyance. I'm sure we'll be fine with us and the CPUs, right? Said Tekken cheerfully. Broccoli nodded in affirmation. Right, NYU. We'll cover for Nep Nep, NYU. That's right, we'll avenge Nep Nep, said Kampa. I'd feel touched if you guys weren't making it sound like I was killed, said Neptune with a sweat drop. Minor issues aside, If shrugged the statement off, making Neptune look at her in shock. Minor? We're all here, so it's time for Momus to leave the stage. Arfwar chuckled in amusement. You're confident in your prowess, allow me to put that to the test. She held out a purple gem which made Naruto narrow his eyes in suspicion. Came forth Zekrom, your MSTR demands your presence. Black clouds began to gather in the once clear blue skies and swirl around with the rumbling sound of thunder and flashes of lightning as Zekrom descended and unleashed a mighty roar whilst discharging blue electricity from his body, sending people into a panic. I, Zekrom the Dragon of Lightning and the loyal beast of the one true goddess Arfwar, have come to cast judgment upon those who dare to oppose her. Zekrom declared. That's a pretty big dragon, said Neptune. Arfwar sneered at them. So, where's your confidence now? Naruto stepped forward. Nep-chan, you and the others deal with Momus while I handle Zekrom. But how? Asked Kampa worriedly. I have a couple of friends that want to save this guy from being a SLV to that old hag. Naruto grabbed the crystal hanging around his neck and called out, pierce through the darkness with your radiant light, Elrath. A large golden cocoon appeared and began to open up in a bright flash of light which dissipated to reveal a western dragon with scales of the purest golds, 3 serpentine tails, and its wings are feathery of pure whiteness. Arfwar was shocked to see this. You can summon an elemental. Whoa, so shiny, said Kampa in awe. Looks like you've been holding out on us, Naru, said If. Naruto jumped up on Elrath's back before turning to the others. We'll handle Zekrom, you deal with the rest. Let's go, Elrath. As you wish, divine wings. A golden aura radiated from Elrath's body with a majority forming extensions around the wings as he launched himself at Zekrom, slamming into him and sending them both far from the city. It would seem that I've underestimated that boy yet again. He shall be dealt with once I'm finished with you all, said Arfwar in annoyance. We're not going to let you hurt him like you did before. Neptune took out her sword and held it at the ready. Blanc immediately transformed into her HDD form and glared at Arfwar. Like hell, I'm gonna let you harm a hair on him, ya hag. Noir was the next to transform. We also need to defeat Momus if we can to change the beliefs of the people. Vert transformed last, I won't let you harm Naruto, such a threat warrants my wrath upon you. High in the sky, Naruto and Elrath were facing Zekrom, who was glaring at them in anger at the sudden attack. You must be foolhardy to face my wrath, said Zekrom angrily. Elrath sighed in response, it saddens me to see you in such a state, Zekrom. But worry not, we shall free you from your enslavement. You speak nonsense before your demise, prepare to be judged. Here he comes, Elrath-san. Get ready. Naruto called out in alert. Hold on tight, young one. Fists of thunder. Zekrom's fists become surrounded by yellow sparks, which grow into ball of electrical energy before attacking with series of punches. Elrath took evasive action, darting from side to side and at times using his three tails to deflect the incoming punches whilst enshrouding them in holy energy to avoid getting shocked before responding with a counterattack. Holy Ray. Elrath opened his mouth to fire a golden beam of energy, blasting Zekrom away from him, then followed up with another attack, Holy Comet. He called down a rain of diagonal slashes made of light energy in front of him. However, Zekrom quickly recovered in time to enshroud his entire body in blue lightning to serve as armor against the incoming projectiles and immediately attacked, Thunder. His body becomes surrounded by electricity and then fired a massive yellow beam of electricity at his target. Watch yourself, don't let that hit you. Drago called out in urgency. Well noted, Divine Wings. Activating his skill, Elrath immediately took off at high speed whilst evading the lightning attack and the ones that followed after the first one missed him until he got out of range, Ragnarok. Elrath opened his mouth and proceeded to charge light energy into a sphere, then fired a salvo of homing laser beams. Bolt Strike. The electric generator inside Zekrom's tail starts to spin and glow light blue with electricity as his body becomes surrounded in yellow electricity with large yellow lightning bolts coming off of it as well. Then he flew forward whilst powering through the laser beams and was about to collide when Elrath folded his wings in front of him as a makeshift shield to defend against the attack, albeit receiving significant damage which forced him away. Elrath-san, are you okay? Asked Naruto worriedly. No worries, young one. I have something suited for moments like this. Morning sun. Yellow rays of light shine outward from Elrath's body, healing him of his wounds. Zekrom scoffed at this. You're only delaying the inevitable, Thunder. He fired another lightning blast, forcing Elrath to be defensive once more. I don't recall Zekrom being this mouthy. Could he have concealed this part of himself from us? Elrath muttered thoughtfully. Save those thoughts for later. We need to focus on stopping Zekrom right now. Nick spoke in a scolding tone. Naruto spoke up, I've got an idea and it's a crazy one. He sent his thoughts through the link for the others to see. No, it's far too dangerous. Styria protested. Such an attempt could cost you your life, said Drago with a frown. I know, but we can't afford to be picky right now. Every minute spent here gives Arfwar time to plan a counterattack against us, Naruto insisted. Elrath was still unsure, but young one. Please, trust me on this one. At that moment, Zekrom prepared an attack. This is the end for you, Fusion Bolt. His tail glows light blue with electricity, then Zekrom's body becomes surrounded in a sphere of violet electricity, then he rapidly toward Elrath and Naruto. Now or never, Elrath-san. Naruto called out urgently. Very well then. Elrath concentrated on his energy and waited for Zekrom to get closer, then unleashed a bright flash of light which caused the lightning dragon to cry out in shock and covered his eyes upon being blinded, missing his attack entirely. He opened his eyes to see that they were nowhere in sight. Where are they? Zekrom frantically looked around for the enemy, but unknown to him, Elrath was silently hovering above him while hiding inside a cloud bank. Now's the time, young one, said Elrath. I'm on it. Naruto leapt off Elrath and dove towards Zekrom from above with his eyes closed in concentration. I am the bone of my sword. Blue circuit-like markings appeared on his arms and spread across his body before forming a marking on his left resembling an unknown emblem as he conjured Konsho and Bakuya into his hands, with the twin short swords transforming into single-edged longswords with feather-like texture designs. He landed on Zekrom's back with the swords raised above his head. Execution. He unleashed a powerful cross slash to strike the SLV collar. There was a bit of struggle, but then cracks started to appear on it before shattering into pieces, making Zekrom roar out loud, which sent Naruto toppling off, but Elrath wasted no time to swoop in and catch him quickly. "Well done, young one. In spite of the danger, you were still able to accomplish the goal," said Elrath in approval. "Thanks Elrath-san, I had to take the chance," said Naruto with a sheepish grin. They heard growling and turned to see Zekrom hovering before them with a look of anger. "DMN that witch, she dared to control me," said Zekrom angrily whilst discharging electricity from his body. "Calm yourself, Zekrom. You're free from her control now," said Elrath. "I'll only be calm when I turn that witch to ashes and spread them to the four corners of the world. We're also after her for the things she has done. You're not the only bearing a grudge towards her," Naruto spoke up, drawing Zekrom's attention to him. "Who is this human child that you have with you?" asked Zekrom. "Then young one's name is Naruto Uzumaki and he's our summoner," Elrath explained with pride. "Our summoner? He's talking about us, Zekrom. You were being a pain in the neck when that witch was controlling you," Drago spoke up from within the crystal. "But we're relieved to see that you're okay now," said Nyx. "Drago and the Shiva sisters. Why are you all with this little human?" asked Zekrom confusedly. "Because he has proven to be more than worthy to be our summoner and the reason why you're free from Arfwar's control," Elrath explained. "Is that so?" Zekrom stared at Naruto intently as if looking deep into his soul, making him feel exposed and want to hide. "How interesting." "What is it?" asked Naruto warily. "In spite of your age, you are able to form a contract with the others which must show that you possess strong ideals. Plus we both share common enemy, which also means a common goal. It would seem that joining you will prove beneficial to both of us," said Zekrom. Drago rolled his eyes. "Quit beating around the bush and just say you're joining us already. Do you need to act like that, Drago? If it saves us from wasting time, then yes, this is one of the reasons why we end up fighting a lot." "Humph, you haven't changed after all these years." Zekrom turned to Naruto. "Anyways, I shall join you and see what makes you so worthy." With his words said, Zekrom transformed into an orb of blue lightning and went inside the crystal. "Alright then, let's get back to Neptune and the others," said Naruto urgently. Back with Neptune and the others, they were able to hold their own against Overlord Momus compared to the last time. But the monster was proving to be just as resilient as before, even so it fell to their combined might. "DMN it, that thing was stronger than before," said Blanc in annoyance. Arfwar frowned at what was happening. "Why is this happening? It should be stronger than the four goddesses." Vert smiled. "It would appear that the seed we've planted has begun to blossom." "What are you talking about?" Noir spoke up. "We simply spread word throughout all the lands that the Overlord is nothing more than a hoax. Sure, some citizens didn't believe at first, but there were others that did. We have you to thank. Your actions helped us become closer to our people." "Jiraiya," Arfwar growled in anger. "With the resistance in Loi on my side, there's no way that thing won't get weak," said Blanc confidently. "Through Ranran's network, all the other Ranrans in the world are in support of Leanbox," said Vert, "and I also did my part by spreading the word through my virtual community." "Lady Vert sure is thorough in doing what she does best," said CyberConnect 2 with a small smile. "So what, as long as there are believers, Momus will revive infinitely." Arfwar refuted. No sooner she said that, Overlord Momus reappeared before them, looking stronger than before, much to the witch's confidence. Vert frowned at this. "It would seem that convincing our lands won't be enough." "Alright Nep, it's your turn," If suddenly announced. Neptune turned to her in shock. "Me? What am I supposed to do? No one's gonna believe me while I can't change forms anymore. I know Nep the most, I can prove to everyone that Nep's a goddess," said Kampa in support. "I'm sure Neru will too." Neptune was touched to see Kampa support her so strongly. "Kampa, okay. Good luck, Neppy," Marvy cheered for her. Neptune took in a deep breath and spoke in a serious tone. "We interrupt all programs for a special announcement." Bonk. An annoyed if went and hit Neptune in the head. Stop fooling around already, Nep. Crack a joke like that next time and I'll get PPS down your throat. Neptune rubbed the bump on her head with a wince. Oh come on, I didn't know how to start off my speech, you know. It shouldn't even be hard for you, all you gotta say is, hey it's me, your cute Nep Nep and I'm your CPU. Come on, trust me. Something like that, if pointed out. That sounds like something Nep Nep would say, said Kompa with the others nodding in agreement. I'm not that kitty, am I? Asked Neptune with a sweat drop. Did you hear that? That kid is Lady Purple Heart, said one of the citizens in shock. Seriously, Lady Purple Heart is that small? Asked another. Are you kidding me? I didn't say anything and yet people are believing what if he said Neptune in disbelief. I see that girl a lot at the guild. I recall seeing her before, she hasn't changed a bit all these years, said an elderly lady, she always comes to buy pudding from me. For real. She's like, so cute and angelic, said a gal while taking pictures of Neptune with her phone. Are the people in this land gullible, NYU? Asked Broccoli in a deadpan tone. I can't believe people believe that, said CyberConnect 2, feeling a bit awkward at all this. Falcom was in the same boat, and here I was feeling worried, guess we didn't have to. Suddenly purple pixels began floating around Neptune, filling her with energy. I don't know what's going on but I feel like I can do anything. Nep Nep, you're glowing, said Kompa in shock. If saw that pixels of different colors started to float around the other goddesses as well, they're all glowing, what's going on? Histoire saw all this and was surprised, this is the shares are resonating. What do you mean? Asked Kompa confusedly. This is coming from everyone's faith towards the CPUs. Shares are originally based on the prayers and faith of the people. But how come it's affecting Nep Nep when she's lost her powers? It's because the people are acknowledging her as their CPU, which means Neptune, you are capable of accessing your HDD form once again. Neptune smiled upon hearing this and turned to the crowd, hey everyone, I'm going to change now, so take a really good look. She was enveloped in a pillar of light which dissipated to reveal that she was in her HDD form, but it appears that her suit had undergone changes to represent her rejuvenated powers, HDD, complete. It's her, Lady Purple Heart is here, a citizen declared, making the crowd cheer at the sight of her. Nep Nep has transformed again, iffy, said Kompa happily. If nodded with a quirked eyebrow, and she has a new costume to boot, way to liven things up, Nep. This is impossible, how you could have your powers back, said Arfoire in outrage. It's about time, said Blanc. Noir was a bit jealous though, no fair, why are you in that new suit of yours? Suddenly, everyone heard the flapping of wings and looked up to see Elrath descending towards them. Naruto landed on the ground as Elrath roared before transforming into an orb of light and going into the crystal to rest for now. Hey everyone, got held up a bit. Hope I'm not too late. Naruto took note of Neptune's restored state, and it looks like you've got your mojo back. Neptune smiled in response, better late than ever. You're still alive. Then that means, Arfoire frantically looked at the purple crystal and saw that it was cracked all over and no longer glowing. Naruto smirked, helped the big guy out and he's not happy with you, made a deal with him to work together in order to beat you down bad, which is what I'm gonna do. Arfoire scowled, like that will happen. I intend to do so, time to transform guys. Naruto called out as the biometals flew into his hands, Model X and Model Z, double mega merge. The biometals proceeded with the transformation, BioLink established, MEGA system online. Naruto was engulfed in a dome of light before dissipating to reveal him as Megaman ZX with the ZX saber at the ready. Okay. Let's lower the curtains on Momus, here we go. Neptune declared as they all charged towards the monster to defeat it once and for all. Opening things up, full charge, sniper missile. Naruto shifted the ZX saber to buster mode and took aim before firing 3 green homing missiles which locked on to Momus and attacked, exploding upon collision. Angered by the attack, Momus retaliated by firing a red laser beam from its main eye at Naruto, who quickly leapt into the air to evade, bursting flame array, he landed close to Momus with a fist glowing red with energy which he used to punch the ground, causing a radial fiery explosion around him which also damaged the monster before quickly moving away when it tried to bite down on him with its massive jaws. Blanc was swooping in from above with her hammer reared back and eyes glowing red with rage. "I'll crush you, get her raving." She slammed down on Momus's head powerfully, forming a deep crater underneath its feet. Momus swung an arm at Blanc which she quickly blocked with her hammer and was knocked away. Vert blurred past Blanc and prepared to attack. "Prepare yourself, Rainy Ratnapra." She attacked with a series of rapid thrusts of her spear before ending the combo with a powerful diagonal slash. "You're open for my 32-bit Mega Blade." Neptune raised a hand towards the sky as purple pixels materialized and clustered together to form into a large double-edged sword. She swung her hand down to have it launch at Overlord Momus, striking the ground close to it and engulf in a pillar of purple light for additional damage. "Here I come, Tornarade Sword." Noir transformed her sword into a double-edged sword with the edges emitting rainbow-colored energy as she performed a mighty swing on Momus before it reverted to normal afterwards. All the while, Naruto was running around Momus while rapidly firing energy bullets with the ZX Buster, then shifting to saber mode as he skidded to a stop. "Raijin rise." He wrapped the blade in electricity then performed a rising uppercut whilst spinning into the air, creating an electric tornado which shocked Momus, but he wasn't done yet. "Ice Fury slash." Naruto transforming ZX Saber into a giant light blue icicle and attacked with a downward move, successfully landing the strike. "Keep up the pressure, it's getting weak." "I got this, I'll show you the power of the goddess of lastation with my EXE drive, infinite slash." Noir rose into the air, swooping from different directions all the while slashing at Momus with her sword with her speed increasing with each strike. Then she transformed her sword into the Tornarade sword and slashed several times before flying above Momus and throwing the sword at it which triggered an explosion of rainbow energy. "How's that?" Overlord Momus rose to its feet and then roared in rage before firing a barrage of red laser beams from its eyes, forcing everyone to take cover and avoid the onslaught of attacks which was causing collateral damage around them. "We need to put a stop to this thing before it hurts anyone else," said Neptune urgently. "It shall be done." Silhouette Spear. With the new power boost, Bert was able to summon 3 green magic circles which launched 3 large wooden spiraled spears to strike the monster, pinning it down. "My turn, Gefahrlichtern." Blanc waved her hands before her to conjure multiple orbs of compressed ice, then swinging her hammer to launch them, inflicting ice damage. "Let's try this out, Twin Dream." Naruto created a ghost-like silhouette of himself, then they moved simultaneously to unleash an assault of slashes and energy blasts from opposing directions, forcefully putting Momus in a constant state of confusion until the monster couldn't take it anymore and unleashed a mighty roar, knocking Naruto away and dissipating his copy. Now the monster is actively targeting him, rushing whilst swinging its arms and chomping its teeth at him in a frenzy. "Could use some help over here, guys." "We're on it." "Noir, let's do this together," Neptune called out. Noir nodded in affirmation. "Very well then, time for our EXE drive, assault combo." Neptune raised a hand towards the sky as purple pixels materialized and clustered together to form the 32-bit Mega Blade as Noir formed the Tornarade sword. Neptune launched the Mega Blade as Noir rushed in and attacked Momus with 2 powerful slashes, then leapt backwards right before the Mega Blade struck the monster and engulfed it in a pillar of purple light for additional damage. "Naruto, listen, I'm going to show you a revised version of my strongest technique. It should be enough to defeat this monster," said Model Z. "I'm all ears, Z," thought Naruto. He felt the knowledge of the technique flow into his mind, then prepared to execute it. Naruto positioned himself in front of Momus, holding the ZX Saber above his head with both hands whilst channeling a large amount of energy into it. Single slide bisection, Phantasm 0 revised. He swung down to launch a giant crescent wave from his saber at high speed which seemingly phased through his target. Overlord Momus unleashed a loud roar, then literally split in half before dissipating into pixels before everyone, much to Arthwar's horror and disbelief. Naruto looked down at the ZX Saber in shock. "Whoa, and this is supposed to be weaker version of the true technique, that's kinda scary." "I'm quite impressed that you're able to do so," said Model Z. "Not surprising for the kid to be able to pull it off." Uzumaki clans aren't feared just for their skills in Fuinjutsu but also known for being absolute terrors in Kenjutsu. Numerous enemies feared his mother the moment she appears on the battlefield with a sword in her hand, just as much as the father Kurama explained. I have got a lot of catching up to do when I get back home, thought Naruto. I can't believe you defeated Momus. Arfuar couldn't bring herself to accept what has happened before her. This was supposed to be her guaranteed victory. Goes to show how much you underestimated us. Give it up, Arfuar. Neptune declared. Humph, don't get overexcited at defeating the mere shell of an overlord. Don't forget that I wield all 4 of your powers. It would appear that you're still oblivious to the fact that they've become stronger than before, Histwar spoke up. What do you mean? They were formerly a proxy to the previous goddess to oversee the world. But that has changed. With the prayers of the people, seeking for them to be their CPUs, they have been reborn as goddesses, entrusted by the people they protect. It seems that your very actions foiled your plans from the very beginning. Judging from your words, are you saying that we too have been reborn? Asked more curiously. Histwar nodded in affirmation. Indeed, your powers as goddesses have been fortified in spite of not looking any different. I'm sure that you can feel the power of the shares resonating within you much stronger than before. Now that you mention it, I do feel the power of my shares coursing through my body. Then how come I'm able to keep up with them? Asked Naruto confusedly. It's all because of your own efforts, Naruto. With every battle, you grew both physically and mentally. Your strong will and determination helped you break through every limit which tried to restrain you and reach greater heights. This is humanity's true power, to never stop growing and always keep moving forward, Histwar explained while looking at Naruto with respect in her eyes. Is that really true? Naruto looked down at his hands in wonder. He had always been viewed as weak and not worth being seen as someone to beware of. But then he realized that it was because he hadn't exactly taken things seriously back then compared to now. This further convinces him to be more serious when he returns to Konoha if he wants to show the world that he is not to be trifled with. Arfuar herself was still coming to terms with what Histwar revealed to her. My dreams, my goals, so close, I can't let this happen. Just give up already, Arfuar. You don't stand a chance against us. Neptune declared. We'll see about that. If you refuse to surrender, then you leave us no choice. Neptune dashed forward and attacked with her sword. Arfuar raised a hand to block and the blade shattered to pieces, much to everyone's shock. What? Arfuar scoffed in response. Fools, no weapon can scathe me. We need the legendary weapons. Move aside, we'll take care of her. Blanc stepped forward alongside the others as they brandished their legendary weapons to face Arfuar. The witch was shocked upon seeing the weapons they wielded. What? No. Those are. They may look different, but they're exactly what you think. You may have sent your fake copies to destroy them, but we were able to get to them in time and restore to be used against you, said more confidently. Arfuar clicked her tongue. Tch, I see that I'm advantaged, then I'll take my leave. Running away again? Asked if with a frown. Run. On the contrary, I'm simply letting you enjoy your time in this world, but I bring it to an end. Arfuar cackled evilly before teleporting away in a flash of light. She ran away? Asked Tekken in an unsure tone. Indeed she did, always doing whenever the odds are against her, said Gatchman, already used to it. Neptune reverted to her normal form with a sigh of relief. Phew, I was at my limit in that form. She soon found herself being hugged by Kampa. Welcome back, Nep Nep. You were really cool out there with Neru and the others, said Kampa cheerfully. Neptune rubbed the back of her head sheepishly. Ah shucks, thanks Kampa. The other goddesses also reverted to their normal forms, with Vert speaking up amongst them. All that remains to be dealt with is Arfuar, but what she said before leaving is concerning. Noir hummed in thought. Same here, bringing the world to an end. We'll need to look into this after some rest. I'm in agreement with Noir. I'd like to rest as well, said Blanc. Alright then, let's head back and have our victory pudding, said Neptune cheerfully. Naruto smiled in response. Can't disagree with that idea, so long as we can add ramen to it. Kurama rolled his eyes. Why am I not surprised? Later that night, Naruto was resting in his room at the inn after having a victory party with Neptune and the others over at Kampa's place, also celebrating Neptune's recovery of her goddess powers. But things kinda got out of hand when Blanc got over Lemon being squeezed onto the deep fry with Noir and Vert going against her. They tried to make Neptune pick a side but got even madder when she chose the neutral ground. The trio were about to pull Naruto into the issue, but a friendly advice from Kurama had the blonde hightailing it out of there in order to avoid the chances of being sent to the hospital or worse due to making a supposedly wrong choice. I still find it hard to believe what Histoire told me, Naruto thoughtfully. You shouldn't doubt yourself because she speaks the truth, said Model X in an encouraging tone. X is right, the chances of being able to mega-merge with more than one biometal are 1 out of 1,000,000 and your potential has made you that very one, said Model Z, sounding absolutely sure of himself. Nick spoke up, Naruto, we didn't choose you to be our summoner just because you would be strong. Styria continued, but because there's something about you that made us want to be with you and see where the path will take you. They're not wrong about that, there's never been a boring moment ever since I joined you, hatchling, said Drago with a chuckle. I agree with them, I truly want to see what a young pure soul like yours can grow into, said Elrath fondly. Heh, you've caught my interest, youngling. I'd like to see where this goes as you deal with that witch along the way, said Zekrom. I'm really glad that Harassman and I got to meet you and become our buddy. I shiver to imagine how things would have been had we never met, said Gatchman. Harassman went to hug the side of Naruto's face and nuzzled it. I'm really happy that you're my friends, I really am. You guys, Naruto gazed at everyone with no small amount of affection, thank you for being with me throughout all this. With you guys having my back, I feel like I can't lose to anyone or anything. We're definitely going to bring down Arfwar and get a happy ending for everyone, and that's a Naruto Uzumaki promise. About that Kurama spoke up, looking rather unsure at the moment. There's something you need to see. What is it? Asked Naruto curiously. Kurama opened up a holoscreen and scrolled through the menu to access the mission briefing tab where Naruto normally uses whenever he takes on quests from the guild or side quests. Seeing a mission which its status read in progress, Naruto opened it and was knocked for a loop when he came upon the details. Naruto couldn't believe what he was reading. Yeah, your game completion progress and it's at 97%. You're almost at the end of the game. But I thought that. Time truly does fly by when you're having fun, said Kurama somberly. What does this mean? Asked Harassman worriedly. It means that when it reaches 100%, I'll be taken back to Konoha and leave Gam Industry, said Naruto with mixed feelings. Exclamation point. Everyone didn't know what to say upon hearing the news. They never thought of this in a while until it's blown up in their face. They've gotten to know Naruto and now they learned that he'll be leaving them soon. Just how is this fair? So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 7. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author Hussbek on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.